Chapter 1795. After hearing the report, the Grand Elder fell into deep thought. Grand Elder, what's the situation? Is the demon-winged race preparing for war? Are they confident now? Wuxia asked confusedly. No, it should be because Night Sorrow obtained Mo Tianji's body. They are very anxious now. The Grand Elder said. That should be the case. This is a huge matter for the demon-winged race. It seems like the seal needs to be strengthened. Wuxia said. Night Sorrow had been working hard on his spear every day. His mixed-element spear art was already somewhat proficient. He could use his own domain with a casual spear art. However, Night Sorrow was still studying King Yowu's spear art. This didn't mean that the High Heaven spear art was much higher than the mixed-element spear art. They were both top-tier spear arts. The reason why the mixed-element spear art was fast was because Night Sorrow had the foundation of a basic spear art. It was relatively easier for him to cultivate it. Night Sorrow had never come into contact with the spirit-controlling spear before, so he had to slowly explore it. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, Mo Tianji and Yu Tian brought the 9 Emperor rank elders of the Devil Wing race and a few normal emperors to the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. After getting on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge, they only walked a short distance before Yu Tian looked at Mo Tianji. We cannot go any further. Normal emperors are fine, but if we get too close, the desolate city lord will come out. We can retreat, but it will be difficult for them. Then let's begin. Mo Tianji nodded. Start. The 9 demon-winged race emperors set up a formation with Yu Tian and Mo Tianji as the core. Yu Tian then opened and closed his hands, tearing the space apart. He then sent the 9 emperors, Mo Tianji, and his own energy into the spatial tunnel to stabilize it. Quickly go in. I can only stabilize this spatial tunnel for 15 minutes. As for whether you can reach the celestial realm, that will depend on yourselves. Yu Tian roared at the normal emperors of the demon-winged race who no longer had a single horn or a pair of wings. Hearing Yu Tian's words, the emperors of the demon-winged race entered the spatial tunnel. 15 minutes later, Yu Tian withdrew his arms and the spatial tunnel closed. After that, imperial energy enveloped the group and quickly left the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. Yu Tian, how are you doing? Mo Tianji looked at Yu Tian after they were some distance away. It won't recover within 1,000 years. Even if you enter a spatial treasure to recover, it will still take a few decades, Yu Tian said. The price of forcefully opening a spatial tunnel was extremely high. Even a peerless magnate wouldn't do such a thing. Mo Lu, seal off the news. Before Lord Yu Tian recovers, we can't afford to fight. If the news is leaked and the humans find out, you know the consequences. Mo Tianji looked at Mo Lu and said. Mo Lu bowed. He naturally understood the severity of the problem. Time slipped away bit by bit. The Humanitarian League was developing very quickly. It was mainly because they were snatching territories very quickly. As long as someone was hit by a brick, their territory would be taken over by the Humanitarian League. The atmosphere in the divine capital was getting better and better. No one dared to snatch territory for no reason or do anything immoral. This was because the Humanitarian League was very impolite. If someone dared to mess around, they would do the same. Because the teleportation formation was more convenient, the people of Star Moon Lake would often come to the divine capital to report to Night Sorrow. Star Moon Lake was developing very smoothly. After a year, good news came one after another. Datura and Sandalwood had both entered the Monarch realm. Blood Emperor Sandalwood finally lived up to his name. The strength of the members of the 9 Heavens army was increasing rapidly. Because of the spatial treasure, as long as their cultivation level was high enough, there was no problem for them to increase their cultivation level. However, there was no news of the God-slaying team. Under the leadership of Liang Yu and Yun Huang, the God-slaying team was still cultivating in the eye of the storm. Night Sorrow's original body hadn't woken up from his cultivation. Night Sorrow felt that if his original body woke up, it would be more likely for him to enter the Monarch realm. This was because the cultivation environment of Yawa Mountain was good. In addition, Night Sorrow's spear technique had improved greatly after the 2 doppelgangers' bitter cultivation. Now he could use his spirit to control the spear. Of course, his mastery was still very shallow. During this period, Night Sorrow also went to the Divine Devil Castle a few times to complete missions. He already knew that the Divine Devil Castle was a force of the Tianhuang city. Because of his strength, he was already an elder of the Divine Devil Castle. However, Night Sorrow wasn't very enthusiastic about missions. He didn't need to worry or work hard for the white tiger blood that Wu Lingfei needed. Wuxia would sometimes come to Night Sorrow's place to sit and drink with him. Seeing that Night Sorrow's development was going smoothly, he was very gratified. On Yawa Mountain, Fentian stood in front of King Yawu. Master, disciple feels that my accumulation is deep enough to trigger the monarch tribulation. Otherwise, it would be a complete waste of time and there would be no improvement at all. Have you decided? King Yawu looked at Fentian and asked. Yes, disciple has decided. Master, please allow me. Fentian's eyes were filled with determination. All right, then I won't stop you. But remember, don't try to be brave. If you pass the 5 tribulations of the heavenly Tao, you must stop. King Yawu looked at Fentian and said. Fentian bowed and left. He wanted to find a place to pass the tribulation. King Yawu didn't follow him. No one could help him pass the heavenly Tao tribulation. Looking at the rolling energy clouds above Night Sorrow's head, King Yawu's eyes were filled with gratification. Night Sorrow's cultivation was going smoothly. As his martial uncle, he was happy. In addition, with Night Sorrow's guidance, the day when the human clan's dragon of destiny would grow a horn wasn't too far away. Seeing that Lin Piaomiao had finished her cultivation, King Yawu waved at Lin Piaomiao and asked her about Night Sorrow's clone in the divine capital. Lin Piaomiao gave a brief answer and also mentioned that King Black Tortoise had come to see Night Sorrow. Martial uncle knows that King Black Tortoise has come. Actually, as long as it's not the Black Dragons, Martial uncle won't prohibit other races from entering the divine capital. The premise is that they don't harm the human clan. King Yawu said. Lin Piaomiao wanted to ask about the 9-domain world. However, she held back. After all, Night Sorrow was the most suitable person to ask. Piaomiao, is Night Sorrow's 9-domain world still stable? Mo Qinji's body is in Night Sorrow's hands. The Demon Wing clan will definitely think of a way to take it back. King Yawu said. Lu Qi had already told him some things, so he knew better. It's stable. Lin Piaomiao nodded. That's good. The 3 giants of the Demon Wing clan can restrain Mo Qinji. This is great news for the human clan. King Yawu said. While the two were talking, the energy clouds above Night Sorrow's head rolled. Night Sorrow's body gradually became clear. It was because the spacetime energy had stopped moving. Then Night Sorrow's aura became sharp and started to climb. It only stopped when it reached the level of a 4-star emperor. Chapter 1796. On this day, Night Sorrow had been cultivating for a while when he suddenly remembered that it was time to do something. He stopped cultivating, took a shower and changed into a new robe. He had bought this robe when he had gone shopping with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. He had never worn it before. Night Sorrow, who usually did not pay much attention to his appearance, even combed his hair properly today. When he arrived at the God-slaying squad's cultivation base and saw that everyone was working hard, Night Sorrow felt very relieved. From the beginning until now, this group of brothers had been the most reassuring to him. He had never needed to supervise them. He waved his hand and called the God-slaying squad over. Wow. Captain, you're so handsome today. My heart is itching just looking at you. Lei Bao stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. That's right. Captain is indeed different today. Ling Long also tilted her head and looked at Night Sorrow. Stop. I have something important to say. After cultivating for so many years and reaching such a level, it's time to pay a visit to the Lord who has bestowed upon me all this. This time I wanted to bring all of you along. After all, that's your Lord. If we don't go when he has something to do, that would be too unreasonable, Yishan said as he looked at the group in front of him. Lord? At this moment, Yang Lei, who was standing to the side, looked at Night Sorrow suspiciously. In all these years, she had never heard of Night Sorrow having a lord. What kind of existence was this lord? Similarly, Yang Lei was not the only one who had such doubts. All the members of the God-slaying squad were looking at each other with wide eyes. Night Sorrow did not say anything. Instead, he waved his hand and a teleportation crystal appeared in his hand. However, this one was different from the ones he had seen before. It was 7-colored and larger than the ones he had seen before. What grade is this? Why is it different from the ones he had seen before? Yang Lei was still as straightforward as ever. She was the first to ask. Night Sorrow smiled and did not say anything. Instead, he began to set up the teleportation array. 15 minutes later, the teleportation circle was set up. Night Sorrow clapped his hands and said, "Who doesn't have secrets? This is the teleportation crystal that the Lord gave me. However, if you want to activate the teleportation array with the rainbow crystal, you need to reach the Emperor realm." Night Sorrow said as he used his energy to wrap everyone up. This teleportation array was different from the ones in the past. It required the energy of the Emperor realm to protect the body. Otherwise, they might be sucked in by the powerful dark mutated energy on the way and then be destroyed. The teleportation this time was different from the previous ones. It took them an entire day to reach their destination. "My lord, what's wrong with you?" After exiting the teleportation array, Knight Sorrow looked at the unconscious man on the ground and held him in his arms. The god-slaying team Yang and the others had yet to recover from the scene before them. "Where is this place? What are the people here dressed up like? There are short-sleeved shirts, suits, and miniskirts. What's even stranger is that the things here, no matter if it's 1, 2, 3, or 4-wheeled monsters, they can run all over the streets." Yang and the others looked at this unfamiliar place, just like how the people around them looked at this group of people who had suddenly arrived. "My lord, you're finally awake. Everyone quickly come and greet the lord. Don't just stand there." Knight Sorrow shouted to the others. At this moment, the unconscious man on the ground slowly opened his eyes. When he saw the scene before him, he did not know what had just happened. There was a power outage at home, and he was carrying his notebook and planning to go to his relative's house to write. However, he felt his notebook vibrate non-stop. He had a feeling that he could not suppress it. Then the notebook flew into the air. Following that, a bright light shone, and a group of people he did not recognize appeared. "Who are you people? I'm just a poor writer. I have neither money nor sex. You found the wrong person," the unconscious man said. Knight Sorrow cupped his hands. "My lord, I'm Knight Sorrow. I've brought my brothers here to congratulate you. You've worked hard for us for an entire cycle. You've worked hard." At this moment, the unconscious man on the ground rubbed his eyes. After sizing up the group of people, he realized that they were very familiar. They were the brothers and sisters in his heart. He coughed and said, "It's not hard at all. It's all worth it. Thank you for coming to see me. I hope that I'll also be blessed with luck." From July 16, 2015 to July 16, 2016. Time started from the same day last year and reached the current day. 1 year to a person's life is neither long nor short. But to a novel, this is a kind of testimony, a testimony of time. To me, this year has been a year of hard work. Every day, every minute, every second, every word, every story. Someone once said that perseverance will lead to victory. I believe that the harder you work, the luckier you get. Because not all perseverance will lead to success, but all hard work will lead to a relative return. So, I prefer perseverance in the midst of struggle. Writing for 6 years, there are tears and tiredness. Not every sunflower will be liked by people, not every rose will be picked by people, and not every peony will be praised by people. It's the same for stories. In my stories, there are different kinds of flowers. No matter if it's difficult to adjust to different tastes, or difficult to enjoy uniqueness. When I look back, I can see this group of brothers standing behind me and supporting me. My heart is always incomparably warm. I've been happy, sad, and lost. But only my faith has not been lost. Since the book was released, this book has never been less than 4 chapters. I have a mother to accompany and a child to take care of. I've also been sick. But my faith has given me perseverance. As long as I'm alive, as long as I persevere and dare to work hard, I'll definitely be able to walk the path. Even if I'm accompanying my family on a trip, accompanying my family during the day and staying up late to write at night, I'll still finish the chapters. Because I don't dare to slack off, because I can't let down my brothers and sisters. In the future, Shizi will work hard as always. Whether it's this book or the next one, perseverance, hard work, faith, and brothers and sisters will always be in my heart. And I only hope that my brothers and sisters will always be with me." Shizi bowed and thanked them. On the 16th, which was 20 p.m., there would be an event in the group. There would be cool coins, USB drives, notebooks, and cups. In addition, Shizi would like to ask for a devil fruit. The ranking is not important. It proves that Shizi and everyone else have worked hard. Chapter 1797. After a year of bitter cultivation and his own time acceleration, Knight Sorrow used 4 years to increase his spacetime attribute, which originally had a 35% grasp of the power of heaven and earth, to a 42% grasp. The biggest improvement was not in the spacetime attribute, but in the void attribute. It directly entered the middle stage of the 3-star Sovereign Emperor realm, from 27% to 35%. It directly increased by 8%, close to 10%. The same was true for the destruction attribute's momentum of heaven and earth. It increased by 7% just like the spacetime attribute. After activating the leakless true body, Knight Sorrow retracted his aura and stopped circulating his power of merit. He began to stabilize his realm. Without using the power of merit, the energy rushing up from Yawo Mountain decreased, but it was still there. Emperor Realm? Lin Piamiao looked at Knight Sorrow's figure in surprise. Yes. My two supreme attributes have also improved greatly. They are both 3-star sovereign emperors and it has only been a year. King Yao's face was full of joy. After stabilizing his cultivation for a day, Night Sorrow stood up. In a year in the real world, Night Sorrow had cultivated for 4 years. His realm had increased greatly, but his cultivation had not fallen behind. Martial uncle, sister Xian, Night Sorrow stretched his waist and greeted them. Hurry up and rest. Lin Piaomiao took the teapot and began to brew tea. She was very happy that Night Sorrow had made progress. Not bad at all. As you improve, the human race's providence dragon is also growing. It's mutually beneficial. Very good. King Yawu smiled at Night Sorrow and pointed to the chair opposite him. Martial uncle, I have something to ask. I have been holding back for a long time. Night Sorrow sat down and said. King Yawu nodded. Night Sorrow was his martial nephew. He was no different from a disciple. If Night Sorrow had something to ask, he would naturally answer if he could. I would like to know what is going on with the 9 regions world. Why would so many divine beast clans send their descendants there? There is also a prophecy that the 9 regions world has the reincarnation of an almighty. Night Sorrow voiced his confusion. Yes, there's nothing that can't be said about this. I'll tell you about it. King Yawu took the tea that Lin Piaomiao brewed. He nodded at Lin Piaomiao and asked her to sit down. With King Yawu's explanation, Night Sorrow understood. This matter originated from an extremely long time ago. Before the last great era, many great figures already predicted that a supreme being-type world would appear. Uncle Master, don't the great worlds of some realms all have supreme attributes? Why is the 9 domains world so special? Night Sorrow still didn't quite understand. Starter, it's different. The great worlds of some realms do have supreme attributes, but they weren't born with supreme attributes. They evolved later. Such worlds won't produce pure supreme attributes. Those that are born with supreme attributes can bestow supreme attributes to their cultivators. With such an opportunity, all the clans would naturally be eager for it. King Yawu explained to Night Sorrow. Uncle Master, it still doesn't match. The 9 regions world originally didn't have supreme attributes. I obtained the Void Origin Bead in a small space world. After using the Void Origin Bead to repair the broken 9 regions world, it had the current Void Origin Bead. Night Sorrow explained the situation in detail. King Yawu smiled and shook his head. How could it not match? The 9 regions world is very close to the surrounding worlds. They will merge. You obtained the Void Origin Bead, which only pushed this step forward by a little bit. So that's how it is. Then I understand. But why didn't the human clan send people over? Night Sorrow asked. Uncle Master and the city lord of Tianhuang City have discussed this matter. However, they feel that everything is destined. If the heavens protect the human clan, then the supreme attributes will naturally be born in the human clan. If not, then there's no good in forcing it. King Yawu said to Night Sorrow. I understand. If they want to pick people up, then let them. A knot in Night Sorrow's heart was untied. Uncle Master, does that mean that after the 9 regions world develops, its level will be higher than the other great worlds? Lin Piaomiao asked the question in her heart. That's right. In fact, it's the prototype of the next celestial realm. However, it will take a long time. In addition, Night Sorrow, you have to be careful. Perhaps there will be some reincarnations of powerful beings in the 9 regions world. Before their souls were reincarnated, their karma was severed. It's hard to track them down and their birth time is not fixed. King Yawu shook his head. Let nature take its course. There's no other way. Night Sorrow nodded. There is a way. You will always be the strongest in the 9 regions world. That's enough. Kill whoever dares to cause trouble. King Yawu's body emitted a domineering aura. Yes, the fist is the absolute truth. This disciple understands. Yi Shang stood up and bowed to King Yawu. It's easy to talk to smart people. If I were to tell your brother, he would probably think for half a day. King Yawu said with a smile. Then King Yawu let Night Sorrow practice his spear skills. He wanted to test the spear skills that Night Sorrow's doppelganger had studied for a year. When Night Sorrow displayed his spear skills, King Yawu nodded. He was very satisfied because Night Sorrow's spear skills had the artistic conception and charm. What he lacked was maturity. Your master is lucky to have you as his disciple. When your spear skills are successful, you will also cultivate your master's sword skills. The inheritance will not be broken. King Yawu said. I will work hard. Let's not talk about revenge. It's my dream to become strong. Night Sorrow nodded. How's your humanitarian league now? King Yawu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. He had already heard about it, but he did not ask about it. He only cared about the divine capital not being invaded by the foreign tribes. I'm not very sure about that. I've been practicing my spear skills. I haven't asked much about it. Speaking of this, he was a little embarrassed. He really did not know much about the Humanitarian League. Martial uncle, it's like this. The name of the Human Tao Alliance was written by all of us. Night Sorrow drew lots and picked one. The leader is Night Sorrow. He was forced to take up the position by everyone. As for the management, it's all done by the others. It's currently developing very well and is already the #1 faction in God's capital. However, Martial uncle, don't worry, we won't mess around. Seeing Night Sorrow's awkwardness, Lin Piaomiao explained the situation of the Human Tao Alliance. If someone else was so arrogant, Yan Qi and Lu Qi would definitely attack them. But with you, the virtuous emperor, as their leader, the Human Tao Alliance can rest assured. I can rest assured as well. The great demon king is unruly and unrestrained, but that's just his personality. It's also a display of his strength. The only one left is your senior brother. He's a bit murderous, but he's also very clear about right and wrong. Chapter 1798. Your realm is still slow? If someone else said that, I would have slapped them. But I can't bear to scold you because you have worked hard enough. Using strength to prove one's Tao is usually an extreme method used by cultivators who have exhausted their potential. It is actually very difficult. If there is a bottleneck in realm, then there is also a bottleneck in energy, said King Yawu. Yishang, you don't have any bottlenecks right now. Just let nature take its course and cultivate. If you really encounter a bottleneck, then think about this problem. Lin Piaomiao looked at Yishang and said. Also be careful. The devil-winged race has been on the move recently. They have attacked the desolate Sky City a few times. They should be plotting something. I have communicated with the desolate Sky City Lord. They should be after Emo Tianji's body. Therefore, your world and your nest must be guarded. Also, you cannot move your original body. Just stay here and cultivate, said King Yawu. Martial uncle. Night Sorrow was startled. Yes, you did. Other than participating in the 100 Race Alliance's first vanguard, cultivate here for the rest of your time. When you reach the Emperor realm or when the human race's providence reaches its peak, then we will talk about it again. Since you have just gotten married, then this place is yours. I will go to the city lord residence. Your senior brother and martial uncle will also leave. After speaking, King Yawu's body flashed and left the peak of Yawu Mountain. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other speechlessly. King Yawu's actions were really swift and decisive. It seems like you really can't leave until you reach the Emperor realm, said Lin Piaomiao to Night Sorrow with a smile. Then I won't leave. The 9 regions world has a clone guarding it. There is another clone outside doing things. I will just cultivate diligently. Night Sorrow didn't think much of it. At this moment, in the Sky General World Region's Sky General City, a black-clothed man was sitting opposite Yuan Ji. Realm Lord Yuan, you have no chance to shine now. If you cooperate with me, you still have a chance, said the black-clothed man to Yuan Ji. You're just an avatar. What right do you have to negotiate with me? Yuan Ji looked at the black-clothed man coldly. Qualifications. If you work with us, we can help you rise again. Otherwise, you will forever be suppressed by Lin Piaomiao. Who knows, Night Sorrow might come and destroy you one day. The black-clothed man said. Then which power do you belong to? Yuan Ji frowned. The black-robed man's words had struck a chord in his heart. He was so scared that he didn't even dare to go outside. The black-robed man had contacted one of Yuan Ji's strongholds in the celestial realm. After receiving 1,000,000 Saint Spirit Stones, Yuan Ji's men brought him to the Tianjiang domain. Tell your men to withdraw. The black-clothed man looked around and said. Yuan Ji waved his hand and had everyone in the city lord's mansion leave. I will tell you something first. If you cooperate with us, I can use my resources to help you rise up. Even if the human race is going to be destroyed, I can still protect your Yuan family. The man in black said. Yuan Ji wasn't stupid. After hearing the black-clothed man's words, he immediately understood. That's right. It's fine as long as you know it. Since we can come here, we have some confidence. So, it's up to you whether to cooperate or not. You can go and tell others. I'm just a clone, so it doesn't matter. But I can guarantee that if there's a war, your Tianjiang domain will be the first to be destroyed. Don't talk to me about teleportation arrays. I can enter the celestial realm through the Nirvana Ocean. I can easily enter your Tianjiang domain. The black-clothed man looked at the frightened Yuan Ji and said. Naturally, he was just trying to scare him. The price of opening a spatial tunnel was too high. Yuanji sat down. His facial expression was constantly changing because the situation was very serious. He couldn't afford to offend either side. The few palace lords of the ethereal empire could easily squash him to death. The devil-winged clan could also easily kill him. You found the Tianjiang domain. What do you need me to do? After thinking for a while, Yuanji asked. Find someone. Help us find someone and I'll give you 5 million Saint Spirit Stones. If you can enter Night Sorrow's world, I'll give you 10 million Saint Spirit Stones. I guarantee that if there's a war, your Tianjiang domain won't be affected, the black-clothed man said. The black-clothed man was the elder of the Demon Wing clan Mo Tiantu. He was the person in charge of the small team sent by Yu Tian and Mo Tianji. After arriving in the celestial realm, they started investigating with the information in their hands. They knew that Mo Tianji's body was in Night Sorrow's hands, so they investigated Night Sorrow first. Then they found out that Night Sorrow was the domain lord of a domain. It would be difficult to fight their way in, so they needed allies. In addition, they needed to find Jun Xuanji, who was in the image in the crystal ball. Mo Tiantu's original body was connected to his doppelganger. The Demon Wing clan's diviner divined again and took out a new image. Afterward, Mo Tiantu captured human cultivators to ask, but he still couldn't identify the specific location. Therefore, Mo Tiantu needed to find allies. As for the choice of allies, Ma Tiantu chose a few: Donghao Mountain, Qinya Pavilion, and Yuanji's Tianjiang domain. His first choice was Yuanji. According to the information he had gathered, Yuanji had no bottom line and was a shameless person. Other than that, he analyzed where he could gain a foothold. Donghao Mountain and World Edge Pavilion weren't at the end of their rope, so they still had a chance to develop. However, Yuanji couldn't. He was in danger of being destroyed at any time. Okay. I'll double the benefits. Take half first and I'll consider cooperating. After thinking for a while, Yuanji made his decision. He felt that it was better to accumulate some resources first. In the future, if he wanted to hide, he would have a chance to develop with abundant resources. Okay, double the benefits won't be a problem. But first, tell me where the scene in this crystal ball is. Mo Tiantu took out a crystal ball. Swear to the heavenly law first. Take out half of the Saint Spirit Stones and we'll start working together. Yuanji's face looked cold. Okay, you also have to swear to the heavenly law that you can't betray today's agreement, Mo Tiantu said. Ma Yintu said. He was also afraid that if one day Yuanji Fantian did not recognize them and knew too much, their small team could easily be wiped out. After the two of them swore to the heavenly law, Mo Tiantu gave Yuanji 10 million Saint Spirit Stones right away. When he came, he was already prepared to bribe people, so he brought a lot of resources. Yuanji took a look at the crystal ball in Mo Tiantu's hand and didn't see anything special. When he looked at it for the second time, Yuanji noticed a symbol. The first city of the human race, the divine capital. The person you're looking for is in the divine capital. The sign behind her is the Humanitarian League. Go to the divine capital and find the Humanitarian League, and you'll find the person you're looking for, Yuanji said. Okay, the first cooperation is done. As for the second cooperation, you have to help us think of a way. Mo Tiantu's heart brightened. His main goal was to find Jun Xuanji. Chapter 1799. Who? Ma Tiantu looked at Yuanji and asked. Song Ning of the Ethereal Dynasty. I want to kill her clone and capture her real body. Yuanji's words were cold, and even the temperature in the city lord's residence dropped. What cultivation level? Don't tell me she's an emperor? If she's an emperor, we can't do anything because we don't have an emperor among us. The highest cultivation level among those who came through the passage is an emperor. Ma Tiantu looked at Yuanji and said. Not an emperor, but an emperor. Yuanji shook his head. Song Ning had become his sore point. He knew that if Song Ning found him, she would kill him. Cultivation level is an emperor? That's fine. For a pleasant cooperation and to show our sincerity, we'll help you with this. However, you have to investigate the information carefully. You can't let us fall into a trap. Ma Tiantu thought for a while and said. He hoped that Yuanji could sincerely serve the Demon Wing clan, so he planned to help Yuanji with this. Thank you. I've been dreaming of this. Therefore, I'll definitely take care of the information. Yuanji nodded. Then Ma Tiantu and Yuanji talked about the second cooperation. Yuanji was clear about the development of the forces in Star Moon Lake. Therefore, he planned to infiltrate the forces in Star Moon Lake with his subordinates. All right. As long as we can infiltrate one of them, it doesn't matter if their cultivation level is low. We can use the spatial treasure to bring our experts into Night Sorrow's world. By then we'll rule his world. You can take revenge however you want. You like women. Night Sorrow has a few beautiful wives. Ma Yin-tu said. Yuan-ji laughed. He felt that the future prospects were very good. If he took down Song Ning secretly, he would blame it on the Demon Wing clan. In addition, if he took down Night Sorrow's world, he would have another stronghold to hide in. Divination wasn't omnipotent. For example, the teleportation array between the realm and the celestial realm had an illusion array around it. Even if it was divination, one couldn't see the surroundings or determine the location. As long as one wanted to hide, they could hide. Yuan-ji sent people to investigate and provided some identities for the Demon Wing clan so that they could appear freely in the celestial realm. Ma Yin-tu and the others entered the celestial realm with broken wings and horns, so they looked no different from humans. Ma Yin-tu's people, except for his original body who was in the celestial wasteland, the others came with his original body and avatars. This was because the space passage had a spatial treasure. The space passage had its original body and his avatars. As for using a spatial magic treasure to carry a cultivator through a spatial tunnel, that was unrealistic. Even in a spatial magic treasure, the energy contained in the cultivator's body would create pressure on the spatial tunnel. This was the law of the heavenly Tao. Of course, the teleportation array was a different situation. It used the energy law of the teleportation stone. Mo Yin-tu was an elder of the Demon Wing clan. He was already a high-ranking member. The clan could not allow his true body to take the risk of being killed. Besides, he had to receive orders from the clan. Therefore his true body did not come. The rest of the members went through the space passage together with their true body and doppelgangers. Ma Yin-tu sent Xiaomo to the divine capital to look for Jun Xuanji. He asked Xiaomo to find a reason to follow Jun Xuanji, even if he had to lower himself. He had to help Jun Xuanji reach the Emperor realm at all costs. Before Jun Xuanji reached the Emperor realm, he could not mention anything about the Demon Wing clan. Mo Qianji had told Ma Yin-tu and the others that she was sure Jun Xuanji was her avatar. She had to help Jun Xuanji rise. If she could not get her original body back, her original body's soul would move into the new body. Her strength would not be affected too much. If she got her original body back, she could merge the two and her strength would increase greatly. Xiaomo went with his original body. His avatar stayed with Ma Yin-tu so that he could report to him. Xiaomo also brought some things prepared by Mo Qianji, such as books and resources. Yishang didn't know about these things. His state of mind was very stable. For him, there were human almighties watching over the affairs of the human race. The city lord of Tianhuang City and King Youwu were both peerless giants. Below them was the council of elders of the human race. As an imperial emperor, he could take care of himself. The 9 regions world and Star Moon Lake were developing well. He did not need to worry about them. What are you thinking about? Lin Piaomiao asked when she saw Night Sorrow's eyes were a little dazed. Nothing. I just feel that it's not right to push Uncle Master away, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Haha, I never thought that I would be able to cultivate on Yawo Mountain or with my husband. Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with happiness. I didn't think about it either because I used to think that the highest level cultivators could reach was supremacy. Who would have thought that after becoming a supremacy, I would have to charge towards the Saint Realm? Yishang also smiled. When he looked back, there were some things he admired himself for. Have some tea first. I'll go tidy up the hut. Lin Piaomiao blushed. It was time for the two of them. Let's do it together. Night Sorrow smiled and followed Lin Piaomiao to tidy up the hut. Night Sorrow, I want a child. But it's hard for an emperor to have a descendant. Not to mention you're an emperor who cultivates the body. I'm an emperor, Lin Piaomiao said softly. Have you thought about it? Mortals can only have children for a few decades. Young and old can't do it. But what about us? We have an endless lifespan. If 10 years is not enough, we can have 100 years. If 100 years is not enough, we can have 1,000 years. If that's not enough, what about 1,000,000 years? Night Sorrow hugged Lin Piaomiao and whispered, Are you trying to torture me to death? By the way, you don't mind that I kicked you that day, right? Lin Piaomiao looked up at Night Sorrow and asked, Why would I? I'm just a rank 9 emperor. Other than me, no one else would be kicked off the bed by the bride. Night Sorrow's face was full of smiles. I thought you wouldn't be happy if you didn't say it. I've always wanted to explain it to you. But with someone else around, it wasn't convenient. I won't do it again. Lin Piaomiao said softly. Sister Xin, marriage is about supporting and relying on each other. There's no need to feel apologetic or guilty about some things. I married you because I want to give you happiness. This will not change. Night Sorrow patted Lin Xianer's back and said, I knew I didn't choose the wrong person. I'll make it up to you tonight. Lin Piaomiao said to Night Sorrow. Yongfei. Zi looked at the little $3 and said, Sister Xian, I feel that it's not appropriate to do that at the peak of Yawo Mountain. This is where the human race's destiny is. It's blasphemous. Why don't we walk around the foot of the mountain? Since we have a spatial treasure, we can go in whenever we want. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1800. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao lived a sweet life. During the day, Lin Piaomiao would cultivate his spear art. At night, the two of them would go out for a walk and spend the night in other places. The main reason was that they were in awe of the Providence Dragon at the peak of Yawo Mountain. After a month of such days, Night Sorrow's anxious state of mind calmed down. He also planned to cultivate in seclusion for the second time. Lin Piaomiao supported Night Sorrow's decision. I most new chapter %% section. Then, Night Sorrow went to his original cultivation place and started his second seclusion. When Night Sorrow's power of merit was activated, the energy eruption at the peak of Yawo Mountain intensified once again. The energy eruption at the peak of Yawo Mountain was different from energy eruptions in other environments. After the energy eruption of Yawo Mountain reached the sky, it stirred up the will of heaven and earth and the momentum of heaven and earth. After a cycle, it would fall back into Yawo Mountain. It was the horn of the Providence Dragon. It was where the energy would not leak and would not become the weakness of the Providence Dragon. As Night Sorrow cultivated, Lin Piaomiao also sat down and started cultivating. Night Sorrow's heaven and earth vision was very beneficial to her. Most importantly, the energy here contained the providence power of the human race. While Yi Shiwen's main body was cultivating in seclusion, Night Sorrow's clone was still cultivating his spear art every day. On Night Sorrow's day, King Yawu came while he was cultivating his spear art. After stopping his cultivation, Night Sorrow brewed a pot of tea for King Yawu. Uncle Master is here. Nothing much. I just came to see you. How have you been recently? King Yawu took a sip of tea and savored it carefully. After relaxing my state of mind, I continued my seclusion. Uncle Master, you can go back. I won't know if any small fry went to see me. Night Sorrow said. He knew that King Yawu had stayed on Yawo Mountain for countless years and might not be used to leaving. That's fine. I'll listen to you. I'll go back later. Your senior brother has passed the 5 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. He'll be able to improve faster if he goes back. King Yawu nodded. Then King Yawu asked about Night Sorrow's spear practice and gave him a few pointers. Let's go for a walk. I'll introduce you to a few people, King Yawu said to Night Sorrow. Then King Yawu took Night Sorrow to the streets. Back then, when I was with your master, I would often go out with your master. Your master was arrogant when he was young. He only stabilized after he achieved something. Now you are the one accompanying me. King Yawu sighed. It's hard to find a bosom friend in life. Master has a brother like Uncle Master, so he won't have any regrets in his life, Night Sorrow said. You can't say that. I have no regrets having a disciple like you. King Yawu shook his head. King Yawu brought Night Sorrow to the City Lord's mansion. Inside the City Lord's mansion, the two of them sat and talked. When they saw King Yawu, the two of them stood up and greeted him. Of the two, one of them was someone Night Sorrow knew. It was the 7th elder, Lu Qi. The other was a white-haired elder that Night Sorrow had never seen before. Elder Lu Qi, you know him. He is the law enforcement elder of the Tianhuang city and also the law enforcement elder of the divine capital city. The two cities can communicate with each other. This is Elder Yan Qi. Elder Yan Qi, this is my nephew Night Sorrow. After the introductions, King Yawu sat down on the city lord's big chair. Yan Qi greets the young city lord. The white-haired elder cupped his hands at Night Sorrow. Elder Yan, please don't call me that. Just call me Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow quickly helped Yan Qi up. Elder Yan, he is the same as Fan Tian. He doesn't care about these things. You don't have to call him young city lord. They have their own paths, King Yawu said to Yan Qi. Yan Qi understands. Yan Qi nodded at King Yawu. Elder Yan, you know that Night Sorrow is the alliance master of the Humanitarian League. Night Sorrow is young, Pu Luo is more casual, and the Great Demon King is more flamboyant. They have a lawless personality. There is no problem with their nature. They are all talents of the human clan. If there is anything inappropriate, you can talk to Night Sorrow. King Yawu said. Yan Qi understands. The Humanitarian League is developing fast and expanding very quickly. However, no matter what industry it is it is fair and just. There is no hegemony. From the overall situation, it is conducive to stability. They also voluntarily handed over some resources to the city lord's mansion. I calculated that it should be 1/3 of their resource income. Yanqi reported to King Yewu. In that case, they only left a part of it because they also sent some resources to the Tianhuang city. Lu Qi said. He knew about the Tianhuang city. Night Sorrow, what's the situation? King Yewu looked at Night Sorrow. He really didn't know about these things. I didn't ask about the Humanitarian League. However, when the Humanitarian League was established, we said that the purpose of the Humanitarian League is to punish evil and promote good. It is to stabilize the foundation of the human clan. The resources should be decided by Elder Pu Luo and the others, Night Sorrow said. Punish evil and promote good. It is a good purpose to stabilize the foundation of the human clan. Elder Yan, you heard it. If there is a black-hearted force and the city lord's mansion is not suitable to deal with it, you can ask Night Sorrow to deal with it. King Yewu said. Yanqi nodded. He knew that as King Yewu's nephew, Night Sorrow would not mess around. In addition, he also felt that Night Sorrow was easy to communicate with. That's enough. Was wine. Take it out. King Yewu raised his chin at several people. The wine was naturally brought by Night Sorrow. After drinking a jar of wine in the city lord's mansion, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow didn't go to cultivate right away. Instead, he went to the hall of the Night Moon Villa. Who is this? Isn't this our cultivation maniac? Why are you free? Yu Zhu asked Night Sorrow. Just now, I went to the city lord's mansion and had a chat with Marshal Uncle and 2 stewards, Yishang said as he sat down. What's wrong? Is King Yewu dissatisfied with the Humanitarian League? Pu Luo asked Night Sorrow. We think we are fair enough. The great demon king's face darkened. You are thinking too much. Uncle Master introduced me to the 2 elders. They are very supportive of the development of the Humanitarian League, Night Sorrow said. I knew it. Who is King Yewu? He wouldn't accuse us, Yu Zhu said with a smile. Aside from Uncle Master, the 2 elders are also very satisfied. Who decided to give the resources? It's a good decision. As long as we have enough resources, we can give some to Tianhuang City and Shen-Du City. This way the human race will have more resources, Night Sorrow said. Everyone discussed it together. However, it's good to have you as the leader. You have insider information. Even if they are dissatisfied with us, they will let us know in advance. They won't attack us directly, Pu Luo said. The Humanitarian League is developing well and has a good reputation. Imperial emperors have come to join us. The general manager of the Humanitarian League already has 2 imperial emperors. The imperial emperor I sent has already returned, the great demon king said. Chapter 1801. Look at the pie on the F in section Z of chapter 8. Yes, there are 2 imperial emperors who joined the human Dao sect. One of them is a peak-level imperial emperor. He took the initiative to say that he would protect you. After the imperial emperor under me came back to report to me, I told her to retreat, said the great demon king. That won't do. We don't know anything about the new monarchs. It's easy for problems to arise, Night Sorrow frowned, feeling that it wasn't safe. Night Sorrow, do you think there's a problem? The great demon king looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Why would a peak monarch protect others so easily? Would you believe me if I said I didn't have any ulterior motives? Our Humanitarian League hasn't reached that level yet, Night Sorrow said. Then I'll arrange for them to go back and tell the head steward who can be trusted. If those 2 fellows have any ulterior motives, I'll crush them to death and make them regret coming to this world, the great demon king said with killing intent. The Demon Wing clan attacked Tianhuang City a few times, wanting to break through the blockade. Their goal is Mo Qianji's body, so their target is me. This caused us to become the center of the conflict, Night Sorrow said to the great demon king and the others. We really have to be careful. Who knows if the Demon Wing clan has any tricks up their sleeves. Great Demon King Yuzhu Ruisi were older than Night Sorrow. We have to be careful, Pu Luo said. The Great Demon King nodded. I'll make arrangements for this. Jun Xuanji is now in charge of the Humanitarian League's development. Nothing can happen to him. Also, he was sent by Night Sorrow. After that, Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King left Night Moon Villa together. The 2 of them first went to the stronghold of the Great Demon King's faction. The Great Demon King called over his female monarch. Liu, this is Night Sorrow, the Alliance Lord of the Humanitarian League, the Merit Emperor. In the future, his orders will be the same as mine, the Great Demon King said to Monarch Liu. Greetings, Alliance Master. Emperor Liu Yu bowed to Night Sorrow. Monarch Liu Yu is too polite. The situation is like this. I trust the Great Demon King, so I trust you. However, the new monarch of the Humanitarian League can't. I don't feel at ease, Night Sorrow said. Thank you for your trust, Alliance Master. Of those two monarchs, one of them used to be from the Divine Capital, so there shouldn't be any problems. However, Liu Yu doesn't know the other monarch, but he did everything perfectly. He even gave Manager Jun a cultivation technique. I felt that there was no problem, so Liu Yu reported to Sir Devil King. Liu Yu explained the situation to Night Sorrow. No problem, that's the biggest problem. You still have to go back and monitor the situation of those two. Now that the Humanitarian League is developing smoothly, there can't be any internal problems. Thanks for your hard work. Night Sorrow cupped his hands towards Liu Yu. Lord Alliance Master is too polite. Thank you for your trust, Lord Alliance Master. Liu Yu will take note. Liu Yu nodded. Following this, Night Sorrow and the others arrived at the Humanitarian League's headquarters. The Region Lord is here. Seeing Night Sorrow, Jun Xuanji was very happy. Mem, how have you been? Night Sorrow smiled at Jun Xuanji, then found a seat and sat down. Very good, everything has been going well. Sir Devil King, please have a seat. Monarch Liu Yu, please have a seat. Jun Xuanji invited everyone to sit. At that moment, Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji's two guards. Chinua Shaimo, this is the Humanitarian League's Alliance Master, Night Sorrow, Jun Xuanji said to the two men standing beside him. Jun Xuanji said to the two men standing to the side. They were both monarchs and were Jun Xuanji's guards. Chinua greets the Alliance Master. A man in green clothes bowed to Night Sorrow. He used to be a monarch under a faction in the Divine Capital that had been smashed by a brick. Now that he felt that the Humanitarian League was good, he joined the Humanitarian League. Monarch Chinua is too polite. Night Sorrow cupped his hands in return. Shaimo greets the Alliance Master. Shaimo was shocked. He came to the Divine Capital to find Jun Xuanji, but he did not expect the Humanitarian League's Alliance Master to be Night Sorrow. Hearing Night Sorrow's name, his heart was in turmoil because Night Sorrow could be said to be their first target. To Imo Chinji, her main body was the most important, so finding Night Sorrow and taking back her main body was her first task. Her second task was to help Jun Xuanji reach the Monarch Realm. Night Sorrow sensed the enmity in Shaimo's heart. Shaimo, do we know each other? Night Sorrow asked. Shaimo is a loose cultivator. I just came to the Divine Capital, so I have not seen the Alliance Master before. Shaimo bowed and said. Oh, I thought you looked like an acquaintance from many years ago. I was mistaken, Night Sorrow said with a smile. The Great Demon King was suspicious. He was mistaken. This was a little too casual. After chatting for a while, Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and said, Xuanji, you are a woman. It is not very convenient for you to have two male guards. Let them do some peripheral work. It is more suitable for you to have a female guard. Liu Yu will stay with you. Okay, Jun Xuanji nodded with a smile. She was willing to accept Night Sorrow's arrangement. Also, I plan to hold a banquet tonight. You and Liu Yu can come together. I will trouble Chinua and Shaimo to take care of things here, Night Sorrow said as he stood up and was about to leave. Lord Alliance Master is too polite. Chinua and Shaimo cupped their hands at Night Sorrow. After that, Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King left the Humanitarian League's headquarters. Night Sorrow, did you find anything? The Great Demon King asked after they were some distance away. A little. I didn't find anything wrong with Chinua. However, there is something wrong with Shaimo. He is hostile towards me and wants to kill me, Night Sorrow said. You can feel that? The Great Demon King asked in surprise. Perhaps this is one of the benefits of having the power of virtue. People with evil intentions will annoy me. People who are hostile towards me and want to kill me will arouse my vigilance. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything from the Great Demon King. Then I will go back and kill him. No one can have any ideas about our Humanitarian League. If he wants to kill you, there is no need to keep him alive. The Great Demon King turned and walked towards the Humanitarian League. He didn't want to spend the night with anyone who had a grudge against him. Don't. There must be a reason for his enmity towards me. When we return, let's find a fortune teller to divine his origins. Then we'll see where he came from. I don't really understand because I've offended all the rank 9 monarchs before. I don't have a reason for this. Yishang said what he didn't understand. Then let's find someone to divine which faction he comes from and whether he is a rogue cultivator or not. The key is to find out the faction behind him. The Great Demon King knew why Night Sorrow was able to remain calm. I asked Jun Xuanji and Liu Yu to come to the banquet to remind them to be more vigilant. They only see that the Humanitarian League is safe in the divine capital and don't think about the dangers, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 1802. On the way back to the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow went through the list of opponents and enemies he had in the celestial realm. However, he did not find anyone named Xiaomo. When they reached the main hall of the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow sat down and told Yu Zhu and the rest about the situation. Whoever dares to infiltrate our Humanitarian League must die, no matter which faction sent them. Fentian said coldly. Half a month ago, Fentian had passed the 5 tribulations of the heavenly law. He felt that it was a little strenuous. Furthermore, with King Yowu's order, he did not dare to touch the 6 tribulations of the heavenly law. Do you have any divination masters in the divine capital? Find one and divine his background, said Yishan. Let's see where he came from. Ruisi and Yu Zhu went out to make the arrangements. They knew fortune tellers in the divine capital. Night Sorrow drank a cup of tea and continued to cultivate. He cultivated the mixed spear arts and the high heaven spear arts. Night Sorrow discovered another benefit of cultivating the high heaven spear arts. His soul power had increased by a lot. Night Sorrow cultivated his spear arts for a while. When he was resting, Ruisi and Yu Zhu brought the fortune tellers to the training ground where Night Sorrow was. I brought them to the Humanitarian League's headquarters and obtained the medium for divination. We can do the divination at any time, Yu Zhu said to Night Sorrow. Alright, let's do the divination. I want to know where this guy came from. Night Sorrow nodded at the 2 fortune tellers. One of the fortune tellers began the divination. The medium he obtained was the teacup that Xiaomo used to drink. When the divination began, the divination image appeared. However, something was wrong. The image shook twice and shattered. The fortune teller was stunned for a moment and continued the divination. However, when the image appeared, it shattered. The fortune teller's face turned pale as if he had suffered a backlash. Without waiting for Night Sorrow to speak, another fortune teller began his divination, but the result was the same. Just as the divination began, the image shattered. Thank you both of you. There is no need for further divination. It seems the other party has taken precautions against our divination. Night Sorrow did not allow the clairvoyant to continue with his divination. After all, it would not yield any results. Tell me what's going on? Reese asked the 2 clairvoyants. He might have a treasure that can disrupt the heavenly secrets and prevent divination. The other possibility is that a super strong person cast a forbidden spell on him. As long as a divination technique appears, it will activate and block it. I'm sorry, Alliance Leader, but we can't continue with the divination, the clairvoyant said. They already knew about Night Sorrow's identity from Ruiz and Yu Zhu. Thank you. Here is a small token of my appreciation. Night Sorrow took out 2 small bottles of Holy Spirit liquid and handed them to the 2 diviners. The clairvoyant accepted the Holy Spirit liquid and expressed his apologies and thanks to Yi Shang before leaving the Yeyue Villa. Night Sorrow, Reese and Yu Zhu went to the hall of the Night Moon Villa. Yu Zhu told Pu Luo and the Great Demon King about the results of the divination. Interesting. This is not simple. Pu Luo stroked his chin. However, his face was full of energy which made him very interested. Night Sorrow, your intuition is very accurate. This is a guy with bad intentions. What do we do now? The Great Demon King asked. It's not wise to kill him before we find out his background. I think that we should let this guy live as long as we can ensure Jun Xuanji's safety. This way he will expose himself sooner or later. It won't be too late to act after we find out who is behind him, Night Sorrow said. Alright. I'll come to the Night Moon Villa with my main body. This clone will stay in the Humanitarian League and keep an eye on this bastard. He will regret it if he tries to attack our Humanitarian League. Yu Zhu's eyes glowed. Among the 7 core members of the Humanitarian League, Pu Luo and Yu Zhu had the best tempers. However, someone had infiltrated the Humanitarian League with bad intentions which made Yu Zhu angry. In the evening, Jun Xuanji and Liu Yu came to the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow held a banquet in the Night Moon Villa, but it was custom-made. Liu Yu was not willing to sit at the table because she knew the status of the 7 people in front of her. Sit. We don't have so many customs in the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow said. Seeing the Great Demon King nod at her, Liu Yu sat down. Everyone was just drinking and chatting. They didn't talk about anything serious. However, what kind of person was Jun Xuanji? In terms of wisdom and strategy, he was superior to others. She naturally knew that Yi Shang must have called her over for something. During the day, Night Sorrow asked Xiaomo if they knew each other. It was a little abrupt. Domain Lord, why did you call Xuanji over? Jun Xuanji stood up and brewed tea after the banquet was cleared. Yes, I called you over to tell you that there is something wrong with Emperor Mo, Jun Xuanji asked. Night Sorrow went straight to the point. Shy Mo? That's not right. He is very concerned about me. He even gave me cultivation manuals and pointed out my shortcomings in cultivation. I can feel his sincerity, Jun Xuanji said. If he can't do these things, how can he gain your trust? Night Sorrow told Jun Xuanji about what he felt and the results of the divination. Killing intent? He dares. Although he has helped me, if he wants to kill Domain Lord, he must die. Jun Xuanji said coldly. Night Sorrow was the person she respected and admired the most. No matter how good Shy Mo was to her, if he wanted to harm Night Sorrow, she would not tolerate it. Night Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji, Xuanji, calm down first. I don't want to touch him yet. I want to find out who is behind this. I called you here to let you know. Liu Yu will protect you. Also, Elder Yu Zhu will be at the Humanitarian League headquarters. Your safety will not be a problem. Xuanji understands. I will not let him find out anything is wrong. Jun Xuanji nodded and left Night Moon Villa with Liu Yu. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. The next day, Yu Zhu's original body arrived at Night Moon Villa. She made a deal with her doppelganger and the doppelganger went to the Humanitarian League headquarters. Shy Mo was a little uneasy because he did not know if he would be exposed. He had a seal on him from the Demon Wing clan's old ancestor Yutian, which could prevent him from being detected by the divination master. However, he was not sure if it would work. He blamed himself. He should not have been hostile to anyone when he came to the divine capital. His mission was to help Jun Xuanji rise. After waiting for 2 days, Shy Mo felt more at ease. He made up his mind that if he could pass this hurdle, he would endure it even if others insulted him in the future. At the peak of Yowu Mountain, Lin Piaomiao, who had been cultivating for a while, was called over by King Yowu for tea. Seeing that Lin Piaomiao was deep in thought, King Yowu asked. Lin Piaomiao told him about the matter. Chapter 1803. Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow said to leave him alone for now and slowly dig out his background. If we make a move now, it will be easy for him to sense it, Lin Piaomiao said. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Trust Martial Uncle. He won't sense anything when dealing with him. After finding out his background, we'll see if there's a need to leave him alone. King Yowu left in a flash. Lin Piaomiao was stunned for a moment. She understood that King Yowu was a hot-tempered person. Then, Lin Piaomiao continued to meditate and cultivate. She could only wait for news. Sister-in-law, there's nothing that Master can't solve. There will be news soon, Fan Tian, who had also returned to Yawu Mountain to cultivate, said. I've said too much. I'm sorry to trouble Martial Uncle to come here, Lin Piaomiao said. Master is the king of divine capital. Whoever wants to cause trouble around the king will have to bear the king's anger. Just wait and see. It's just that the frequency of junior brother's seclusion is too high. Fan Tian glanced at the place where Night Sorrow was cultivating and said. He can maintain a high speed of cultivation mainly because of his high state of mind. His mind is flawless, so he doesn't have the troubles that we and other cultivators have. He won't have inner demons, Lin Piaomiao said. I'm envious. His mind is flawless. He can cultivate however he wants, Fan Tian muttered and continued to cultivate. There were many troubles on the path of cultivation. First, there was the bottleneck. The bottleneck of cultivation restricted development. Second, there was the state of mind. If one state of mind couldn't keep up, one wouldn't be able to advance. For example, if a saint wanted to enter the Saint King realm without the state of mind, he could only stay in the saint realm forever. If he forced himself to advance, his inner demons would be reborn. Therefore, in terms of state of mind, even Lin Piaomiao admired Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's state of mind was clear and untainted. 2 days later, King Yowu returned. He didn't look very good. Martial Uncle, Lin Piaomiao greeted. Okay, inform Night Sorrow's clone to come here. Uncle Master has something to discuss with him. Let's see what he decides, King Yowu said to Lin Piaomiao after glancing at Night Sorrow's original body. Lin Piaomiao nodded. Night Moon Villa's clone had told Night Sorrow that King Yowu wanted to see him. Night Sorrow nodded and left the Night Moon Villa for the City Lord's mansion. When the Castellan Manor's guard saw Night Sorrow, they all bowed respectfully and did not stop him. They had seen King Yowu bring Night Sorrow into the City Lord's mansion with their own eyes. This had never happened before. In addition, Lu Qi and Yan Qi had also explained to the City Lord's Mansion's men that they didn't need to send a message when Night Sorrow came, let alone intercept him. Upon reaching Yawu Mountain, Night Sorrow immediately flew up the mountain. Yawu Mountain was a forbidden area set by King Yawu. Without King Yawu's permission, anyone who trespassed into Yawu Mountain would be killed mercilessly. Of course, Night Sorrow would not be killed. Upon reaching the peak of Yawu Mountain, Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu. "Martial Uncle, I'm here. Uncle Master has investigated Sha Mo from the Humanitarian League. He's from the Demon Wing clan," King Yawu said to Night Sorrow. "Martial Uncle, you know about it?" Night Sorrow was stunned. "Yes, the fortune teller you found couldn't divine it because of the seal on Sha Mo's body. After Martial Uncle Master affected his soul and broke the seal, the fortune teller divined that they came through the space tunnel," King Yawu said. "No wonder I felt a killing intent when I saw him. It felt uncomfortable. He's from the Demon Wing clan. How many of them are here? Can we kill them all?" Night Sorrow's face turned cold. He knew that the Demon Wing clan was coming for him. If he wanted to protect the people around him, he had to be ruthless. "The problem isn't serious, so Martial Uncle Master wants to know what you think." King Yawu told Night Sorrow about the current situation. However, he only knew the number of people and Sha Mo's situation. 7 people. The strongest is a peak sovereign emperor. The whereabouts of 6 people are unknown. That means that Sha Mo is the only one under our watch, Night Sorrow said. "Yes, so Martial Uncle Master wants to know what you think. If we want to kill him, we can do it with a slap," King Yawu said as he looked at Night Sorrow. "Killing him is easy, but the clues will be cut off. Right now, clues are more precious than anything else. With clues we can deduce what they want to do. We can plan ahead," Night Sorrow concluded after thinking for a while. "Just as Martial Uncle Master thought. Martial Uncle Master asked you because Jun Xuanji came from your world," King Yawu said. "Just send more people to protect him. Also, I feel that the possibility of Sha Mo attacking Jun Xuanji is very low. He gave Jun Xuanji cultivation manuals and even gave him pointers in order to gain his favor. Jun Xuanji is valuable in his heart. Let's keep an eye on this guy and see who he contacts. Then we'll monitor each and every one of them," Yishan said. King Yawu smiled because Night Sorrow had the same idea as him. Then Night Sorrow and King Yawu analyzed the situation and came up with a plan. Currently, the Demon Wing clan had entered the celestial realm to take back Imo Tianji's body. There were only 2 ways to do this. One was to find Night Sorrow, and the other was to break into the 9 Domains world. Therefore, King Yawu planned to set up a big trap in these 2 places and wait for the Demon Wing clan to jump in. "Martial Uncle, I'll have to trouble you with this. I'm the only Imperial Emperor in the 9 Domains world, and I've just become one." Night Sorrow looked at King Yawu and said with a smile. "People? That's not a problem. I don't lack people under my command. Fentian, come over and listen carefully when you're cultivating. Can you cultivate in there? Bring the law enforcement team and arrange according to the plan that I and your junior brother came up with. Arrange the entrance to the 9 Domains world and the Star Moon Lake into an iron bucket. However, it has to be low-key and not be noticed by the other party. In addition, the Humanitarian League will arrange for spies. Your subordinates are not strong enough. Take my token and mobilize the protectors of the City Lord's Mansion. You must not be noticed by the other party," King Yawu said to Fentian. "I'll go right away," Fentian said and disappeared in a flash. "Your original body will continue to cultivate. The clone will do whatever you need to do," King Yawu said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's clone bowed to King Yawu and left. With King Yawu's arrangement, he did not need to worry at all. "I forgot to ask him for a jar of wine. We shouldn't drink tea on such a happy occasion," King Yawu said after hesitating for a moment while holding a teacup as he watched Night Sorrow leave. "Martial Uncle, I have wine here." Lin Piaomiao took out a jar of wine. "Good, very good. Both of you are very good and likable. Night Sorrow's Star Moon Lake is in your Misty Dynasty's territory and you are his wife, so you have to be careful," King Yawu said to Lin Piaomiao after taking a sip of wine. Chapter 1804. Yes, Martial Uncle knows about your situation. Your fighting strength is outstanding among the human race. Put more effort into other aspects. Strength doesn't necessarily determine height. A bucket, the shortest plank, determines how much water it can hold. King Yawu looked at Lin Piaomiao and said, "Thank you, Martial Uncle. This disciple understands." Lin Piaomiao bowed to King Yawu. "You have the Void attribute as your main attribute and the Earth attribute as your support. That's why your attacks are majestic and can be ranked first on the Divine Demon list. Earth attribute cultivators are also good at speed. Earth attribute cultivators are good at shrinking the ground into an inch and moving 1,000 miles in one step. If you want to pursue speed, you can go in this direction. King Yewu reminded Lin Piaomiao again. After giving a few pointers, King Yewu closed his eyes and meditated. Fentian was busy. He was the commander of the City Lord's Mansion's law enforcement team. The law enforcement team under him was the foundation of the divine capital city for countless years. There were a few Emperor Realm cultivators, and the protectors of the City Lord's Mansion were all Emperor Realm cultivators. However, they only took orders from King Yewu, so Fentian had to take King Yewu's token. Fentian was very excited because this was a confrontation with the foreign race. Fentian, you're saying that guy is from the Demon Wing clan? An old man looked at Fentian and asked. He was the chief protector of the City Lord's Mansion, Shirhan. Uncle Shirhan, yes. Master confirmed it. He didn't tell anyone about this because he was afraid it would be leaked. So he asked Uncle Shirhan to make the arrangements. Fentian said. Since the City Lord confirmed it, then it's done. Uncle will handle this matter. Nothing can escape your eyes. Shirhan was thin, but his eyes were full of light. Uncle Shirhan, there's a girl called Jun Xuanji in the Humanitarian League. She's one of Junior Brother Knight's people. Nothing can happen to her. Fentian explained the situation to Shirhan. Okay, then Uncle will go now. He sat and waited for Shirhan to stand up. Uncle, don't be anxious. There are other things. We can't set up a pit. Junior Brother has to have a pit beside him. If they make a move, the possibility of them touching Junior Brother is higher. Fentian repeated the conversation between King Yewu and Knight Sorrow. Chapter HF section equals previous, Ninus. Knight Sorrow has Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, and Lin Piaomiao by his side. Who can touch him? If they sent more people, would the Demon Wings race still be able to act? You have to give them a chance. Weren't you there too? However, we need to send more people to Star Moon Lake. Uncle will give you a few more protectors. Take them and the enforcers to Star Moon Lake. That's the most important place. After all, it's quite far from us, Shi Kuan said. Thank you, Uncle Shi Yan. Fentian cupped his hands toward Shi Yan. Shi Yan was a close friend of King Yewu. He had watched Fentian grow up, so Fentian respected him very much. Alright, come with Uncle. Uncle will arrange people for you and then Uncle will go and keep an eye on them. Shi Yan waved to Fentian. Very quickly the deployment was completed. The Burning Heaven clone brought people to the Star Moon Lake. Knight Sorrow's clone in the 9-domain world informed Datura. His clone could move, but he couldn't leave the 9-domain world. Therefore, if he wanted to make arrangements, he needed someone else to do it. Knight Sorrow told Datura to receive Fentian and his group. He also explained the reason. After everything was ready, Knight Sorrow didn't care anymore. He felt that there wouldn't be any problems. If the Demon Wings race dared to come, then they wouldn't be able to return. Fentian's original body held 2 jars of wine and sat at the side, watching Knight Sorrow practice his spear. He was very happy. Senior brother, you're not going to Yawo Mountain to cultivate? Knight Sorrow wiped the sweat off his forehead and said. Normally, Knight Sorrow wouldn't sweat at his level and wouldn't have any negative effects. Knight Sorrow was fusing his essence, energy, and spirit into his spear arts, which consumed a lot of his body. No rush. Senior brother's clone went to Star Moon Lake. My original body will stay by your side. Come, let's drink. Fentian was very happy. He loved to fight. Senior brother, your original body should go and cultivate as well. Cultivating at the peak of Yawo Mountain is very important and the opportunity is hard to come by. If there's really a battle, Misty's original body will call for senior brother. It won't be too late for you guys to come back. They don't have an emperor. It won't be easy for an emperor to hurt or kill me, right? It's hard to say who will kill who. Knight Sorrow looked at Fentian and said, Alright, then let's drink this jar of wine. Senior brother will go and cultivate. With Pu Luo and the Great Demon King here, this place should be stable. Fentian nodded. He didn't want to leave this place, but it wasn't because he was worried. After drinking, Fentian went to the peak of Yawo Mountain. Knight Sorrow, Fentian has a strong murderous nature. However, he has a different feeling from you. Lin Piaomiao sat beside Knight Sorrow. Maybe it's because he doesn't have any friends. He's an orphan and senior uncle only accepted him as a disciple. In this aspect, I'm much luckier than him. Knight Sorrow said. With senior uncle's arrangements, things are very stable. There are no oversights. Actually, I still don't understand. Shaimo is really good to Jun Xuanji. He gave him 2 cultivation manuals and even gave him some spirit congealing pills. If it's just to curry favor, there's no need to pay such a big price, right? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Lin Piaomiao had been to the Humanitarian League's headquarters and had interacted with Jun Xuanji and Emperor Lu Yu. Night Sorrow closed his eyes and thought. Jun Xuanji was one of the core figures of the 9 Domains world. He was also someone that Night Sorrow valued. Therefore there couldn't be any problems. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow turned to look at Lin Piaomiao. I understand what you mean. I will consider this matter carefully. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She and Night Sorrow were both smart people. She also knew what Night Sorrow was afraid of. Therefore she wouldn't say anything bad about the people of the 9 Domains world to Night Sorrow. What she said just now was just a subtle reminder. Night Sorrow naturally understood what Lin Piaomiao meant. However, he didn't want to suspect or target anyone in the 9 Domains world. Night Sorrow smiled. Sister Xianer, we're not like before. We're husband and wife. If we can't communicate with each other sincerely, who can we communicate with? I will pay attention to some things and won't let Xiaomo succeed. Xiaomo will definitely contact me. Let's see what he's up to. Lin Piaomiao wanted to say something, but her expression changed. The Piaomiao dynasty has changed. He's really tired of living. After speaking, Lin Piaomiao's body flashed and disappeared from the Night Moon Villa. She felt the spiritual communication crystal shatter. She had left it in Songning. Night Sorrow arrived at the main hall of the Night Moon Villa. Stop drinking tea. Something might have happened in the Piaomiao dynasty. Piaomiao has already returned. Let's hurry over. In private, Night Sorrow always called Lin Piaomiao Sister Xianer. However, in front of others he called her Piaomiao. Let's kill our way over. Let's see who's going to turn the tables and humiliate our Humanitarian League's elders. They're courting death. Great Demon King roared. Following which, the few of them flew towards the teleportation array. Chapter 1805. The battle was intense. Song Ning and Wu Feng were both strong among the monarchs, but they were not as strong as their opponents. Plus, their opponents outnumbered them and fought ruthlessly. Song Ning's clone was no longer fighting. She was ambushed by Ma Tiantu when she returned to her residence. It was her clone that took the fatal blow and lost the ability to fight. Currently, it was Song Ning, Wu Feng, and her clone who were fighting the 6 monarchs. Wu Feng's clone was also injured. Song Ning, go! Edgeless roared. He knew that today was a dead end. The 6 imperial emperors were all stronger than him and Song Ning. Moreover, they had planned this out. Now they were trapped in the formation. No, they will die today. We have to hold on. Song Ning shouted at Wu Feng. She only hoped that Lin Piaomiao would come back soon. Otherwise, she and Wu Feng would not be able to hold on for long. Surrender and you may still have a chance to live, Ma Tiantu shouted. In your dreams. Song Ning responded with a fierce sword strike. Kill the man first, then severely injure the woman. We have to hurry to Night Moon Villa. We don't have much time, Ma Tiantu shouted at the others. After lying low for a while, Ma Tiantu's first plan was to help Yuan Ji fulfill his request. Then he would go to Night Moon Villa to capture Night Sorrow's family and use them to threaten Night Sorrow. The battle was fierce. Wu Feng's clone lost an arm and his body was pierced by a sword. Wu Feng's clone had no fighting power. He immediately put it away. Song Ning, although I did not marry you, I am satisfied to be able to fight with you to the end, Wu Feng shouted at Song Ning. Me too, Song Ning replied. Damn it. Let's retreat. Ma Tiantu shouted at the others. His clone that was near the teleportation formation saw Lin Piaomiao appear. Ma Tiantu and the others did not dare to attack the teleportation formation. If they did, the elders and palace lords of the Misty Dynasty would know and attack. They would lose the chance to ambush Song Ning. Now that Lin Piaomiao had returned, if they still didn't leave they would be easily killed. They had done a background check on Lin Piaomiao. Ma Tiantu tossed out a large black array disc, which carried a ferocious energy as it attacked Song Ning and Wu Feng. Ma Tiantu then led the others to activate the teleportation array disc before disappearing from the Misty Dynasty. He had used the same combat technique as Night Sorrow. When Ma Tiantu came, he brought a lot of battle resources and a lot of array discs. The battle mode this time was also decided by Mo Tianji. In just a few breaths' time after Mo Tiantu and the others retreated, Lin Piaomiao arrived. With one sword strike she cut the black array disc into 2. Sister Xian, Song Ning's eyes were filled with anger and grievance. They ran away? Lin Piaomiao's face was filled with killing intent. Quick! Let's hurry to the Night Moon Villa. They said that their target is the Night Moon Villa. Song Ning said anxiously. At this moment, a man in black was attacking the defensive array of the Night Moon Villa. This was thanks to Mandela's quick reaction. She had activated the great defensive array in time. While she had been meditating, she had discovered someone flying towards the Yewa Mountain Villa. Thus, she had instantly activated the teleportation array and crushed Yi Shang's messaging crystal. After exiting the teleportation array, Night Sorrow realized that his messaging crystal had shattered. How dare you attack my home? You want to die? With a low growl, Night Sorrow flew towards the Night Moon Villa. Pu Luo, bring Ruisi to find Elder Lin. Yuzhu, let's go to the Night Moon Villa. The Great Demon King divided the tasks. Then the few of them flew towards their respective targets at top speed. They knew that this was a critical moment. If they were slow, it would be easy for them to face irreversible consequences. When Night Sorrow arrived at the Night Moon Villa, he saw a man in black frantically attacking the defensive array of the Night Moon Villa. He had already shattered the array with a sword. However, Night Sorrow was here. Naturally, he couldn't let him enter the Night Moon Villa. He activated his Bloodlust Evil Slaying Spear and charged over. The Bloodlust Evil Slaying Spear, which stirred up the power of heaven and earth, streaked across the air and charged towards the man in black. The man in black was Moe Yun of the Devil Wing clan. He had been waiting outside the Night Moon Villa. Ma Tiantu had asked him to keep an eye on the Night Moon Villa. Once they were done with Song Ning, they would come over and take down the Night Moon Villa. Now that Lin Piaomiao had rushed back, Ma Tiantu's men didn't dare to come over. Therefore he ordered Moe Yun to attack. However, as soon as Moe Yun broke through the defensive array of the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow appeared. He didn't have a chance to attack. Moe Yun was furious. If he had a few more moments, he could have severely injured Dechira, who had just entered the Emperor realm. Then he could have captured Lin Piaomiao and retreated. But now he didn't have a chance. Facing Night Sorrow's fierce spear, Moe Yun quickly retreated. Since he couldn't do anything, he had to retreat. Night Sorrow used his void steps and caught up with Moe Yun. Once again he attacked with his spear. At this time, Moe Yun threw out a black array disc that enveloped Night Sorrow. Then he took out a teleportation array disc. The moment Moe Yun activated the teleportation array disc, a black light flashed and shone on his body. Then a sword chi flashed and cut the teleportation array disc in half. Great Demon King. The Great Demon King had arrived. That black light was the Great Demon King's soul attack. Driven by Guizu's ghost pupil, it directly immobilized Moe Yun. His sword chi could have killed Moe Yun, but he wanted to capture him alive. After destroying Moe Yun's teleportation array disc, the Great Demon King arrived in front of Moe Yun. He took out his golden brick and directly smashed it on the face of the panicking Moe Yun, who was about to retreat. Along with the sound of bones breaking, Moe Yun's body went limp. He was just an Emperor King, while the Great Demon King was famous even among emperors. The two of them weren't on the same level. At this moment, Night Sorrow had also broken open the black array disc. Everything had happened in the blink of an eye, but it had happened too quickly. Night Sorrow, are you all right? Yuzhu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. I'm fine. I came back just in time. He just broke through the defensive array. Night Sorrow rejoiced in his heart. If he came back just a moment later, the people in the Night Moon Villa would have been controlled by Moe Yun, and he wouldn't have been able to end the situation. It's good that you're fine. If we capture him alive, we might be able to find something. I'll control him first and not give him a chance to commit suicide or self-destruct. The Great Demon King took out his golden brick and smashed it at Moe Yun's head again. He planned to hit it again to make Moe Yun unconscious and then control him. But just as the Great Demon King's brick was a little away from Moe Yun's head, Moe Yun's body swelled up. With a burst of energy, his body suddenly exploded. The Great Demon King, who was close by, waved his left hand and an energy barrier appeared in front of him. However, the self-destruction of an Emperor King was very powerful. It blasted the Great Demon King back a distance. Chapter 1806. This B***** is pretty ruthless. He blew himself up just like that. Yuzhu said. It's my fault. If I had hit him earlier, he wouldn't have had the chance. The Great Demon King was a little annoyed. Moe Yun's actions were equivalent to slapping him in the face. It's alright. As long as it didn't affect us. Night Sorrow said as he looked at Dechira and Sikong Chuyu, who were walking past. There will be plenty of chances to kill them. However, this incident also proves that your defenses here aren't good enough. The Great Demon King said. Yuzhu, help me look after the house. The Great Demon King, let's go look for Misty and the rest. With only one person attacking here, they will be under a lot of pressure. Night Sorrow said. Just as Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King were about to leave, Lin Misty and the rest returned with the injured Song Ning and Wu Feng. This place was attacked as well? Lin Misty looked at the huge crater left behind by Mo Yun's self-destruction. Her eyes were filled with anger. Night Sorrow nodded and explained the situation. The defensive array isn't enough. Pu Luo said. Then set up a new one. It must be able to withstand the attacks and buy time for us to return. However, it's not easy to get the materials for a high-grade defensive array. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, as long as the skeleton isn't destroyed, Uncle Lai will help you find another Ice Dragon skeleton among the Ice Dragon. Shi Lai and Fentian appeared at Night Moon Villa. Dachura had arranged for his family to teleport to Star Moon City. Knowing that something had happened here, Shi Lai came over to provide support. He happened to hear Night Sorrow's words. Uncle Lai, it's not appropriate. Those are the ancestors of the Ice Dragons. Night Sorrow shook his head and refused. He didn't want to put Shilia in a difficult position. He didn't want Shilia to be unable to explain himself to his family. It's nothing. As long as you don't desecrate or destroy the remains of our Ice Dragon clan's ancestors, it's fine. The glory of the Ice Dragon clan's ancestors shining in the Heaven Realm is a good thing for our Ice Dragon clan. Everyone in the world will know of the existence of the Ice Dragon clan. Shi Lai told Yishang his request and thoughts. Then Night Sorrow would like to thank Uncle Lai. Night Sorrow bowed to Shi Lai. He was very grateful. Alright then. Uncle Lai, return to the clan and bring the remains of our ancestors here. After saying that, Shi Lai left the Night Moon Villa. While Night Sorrow was studying how to design the array, King Yawu, Fentian's true body and Lin Piaomiao's true body appeared in Night Moon Villa. RA update E * latest / soonest ager Martial Uncle, it's nothing. Why are you here? Night Sorrow invited King Yawu to sit in the main hall. The others also cupped their hands in greeting. Nothing? My martial nephew's house was raided. How can it be nothing? Also, Piaomiao mentioned about setting up the array. Martial Uncle will set it up for you. Let's see who can break it. King Yawu's aura rippled in all directions. The dignity of a king couldn't be desecrated. King Yawu treated Night Sorrow as his disciple. Therefore, this matter had already angered him. Many thanks, Martial Uncle. One of my Ice Dragon's uncles plans to bring an Ice Dragon skeleton over to set up the array. Night Sorrow explained the situation to King Yawu. That's even better. If we use that to set up the array, not to mention monarchs, even emperors who don't understand array Dao won't be able to break it. King Yawu nodded. Then Lin Piaomiao invited a fortune teller over and began to divine where Mo Yun had fallen. Since Mo Yun's clone had fallen, the seal that prevented the divination was naturally ineffective. The results of the divination confirmed that the attackers were from the demon-winged race. These bastards really dare to do anything. The Great Demon King was very angry. I can understand why they attacked Night Sorrow's residence and captured Night Sorrow's family. However, why would the demon-winged race attack the two of them for no reason? King Yawu asked Wu Feng and Song Ning. At this moment, Wu Feng and Song Ning had recovered slightly. Their main bodies were only injured by their clones. Martial Uncle, in the divination just now, there was a traitor of Ethereal Sovereign. He hates Song Ning because he was the spy for the demon-winged race, Lin Piaomiao said to King Yawu. He must die. King Yawu stood up. Martial Uncle, please calm down. We have to consider how to make the demon-winged race suffer more losses. Isn't it a little too early to make a move on them? Night Sorrow said. Then we'll listen to you. King Yawu sat down again. Big brother, Song Ning, we are best friends. I really want to go over there and avenge you. However, the battle between the human race and the demon-winged race is a big deal. We can't act rashly because of personal feelings. Don't blame me. In fact, I'm even angrier, Night Sorrow said to Song Ning and Wu Feng. We are brothers. Even if you say something wrong, I won't have any opinions, Wu Feng said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, there's no point in saying this to me. We are good friends. You can make decisions for me. Song Ning nodded. The demon-winged race is very cunning. Yuan Ji is the same. He's in the celestial realm. It's hard to say if we can find the teleportation formation between the celestial realm and the celestial realm. In addition, Yuan Ji is currently a key point. If he dies, the demon-winged race will hide again. It'll be difficult to find them without divination, Night Sorrow said. You're right. They don't know that we know their situation, so they'll still have a plan. Seize the opportunity and kill them all at once. King Yewu nodded at Yi Shang. His eyes were full of praise. It was rare for someone to be able to remain calm, rational, and clear-headed while being attacked at home. Martial uncle, they're a scourge. Leaving any one of them alive will cause endless trouble. So we have to seize the opportunity and kill them all, Night Sorrow said. Then Night Sorrow explained the plan. Currently there were only a few places where the enemy could attack. So they had to pay attention to every point. While paying attention to the defense, they had to continue digging the teleportation formation in the celestial realm. Night Sorrow, I'll take care of this. The Yuan family still has some people in the celestial realm. Follow them and slowly dig. We'll be able to find the teleportation formation. We haven't been paying attention to him recently, Song Ning said. Fentian, the Humanitarian League can't have any problems. Keep an eye on him. King Yewu looked at Fentian and said, I'll ask Uncle Shigang to keep an eye on him. Give him a few pairs of wings. He won't be able to escape. Fun Tian said as he stared at Sha Mo inside the celestial realm. Ma Qiantu's face was not looking good. Because of his poor arrangement, he had failed at the last minute. If he had let Mo Yun attack Night Moon Villa from the beginning, the situation would not have been like this. Yuan Ji did not say anything. He knew that Ma Qiantu and the others had tried their best. The details had already been reported to him by the Yuan family. Elder Ma Qiantu, one failure is nothing. They're in the light while we're in the dark. It's still possible to stabilize the situation and carry out the plan. My subordinates are still looking for information, Yuan Ji said. Ma Qiantu nodded. He felt somewhat lucky. Because of the attack on Song Ning and Wu Feng, no one would have thought that the real target was Night Sorrow. Chapter 1807. We have already entered their outer circle. But this cannot be rushed. If we rush, we will be easily discovered and all our efforts will be in vain. Yuan Ji said. You have to hurry. This is the most important thing. Ma Qiantu glanced at Yuan Ji. Then let's make one thing clear first. If we can enter that region and conquer it, that region will belong to my Yuan clan. Yuan Ji said. Update equals soonest QJ. Alright. We can give it to you. But we also need to set up a stronghold there. We will wait for your news. Let's go. Ma Qiantu called out to his subordinates and left. Ma Qiantu had found the place himself. In other words, only he could find Yuan Ji. Yuan Ji could not find him. It was a small world in the Sky General region. There was a mansion in a small city. The owner of the mansion was dead. Ma Qiantu killed him and took over the place. Not only the mansion but also the woman. With his enchantment, outsiders would not know what had happened here. Taisher, you are good at hiding. Hide your clone near the Sky General City Lord's mansion. If Yuan Ji does anything you must know immediately. Ma Qiantu said to a green-robed man. Don't worry, Elder. I will keep an eye on him. The green-robed man Mo Taisher said. Yun, it was my mistake this time. You have to bear the loss of your clone. In the future, except for the real battle, your real body will recover here. Ma Qiantu said to Mo Yun. What a pity. I was just a little bit late. Mo Yun was not upset about the loss of his clone. Instead, he was angry about the lack of results. In the Night Moon Villa of the ethereal Imperial City, there was a wind scenery mountain. However, it was no longer a wind scenery mountain. It was several thousand zhang higher than before. On the peak of the mountain, there was a shining ice dragon skeleton. Those who knew would know that it was a skeleton. Those who did not know would think that it was an ice dragon cultivating with its eyes closed. King Yewu set up a defensive formation with the ice dragon as the core. Night Sorrow, the matrix has been formed. It's impossible for an Imperial Emperor to break it. Even an Imperial Emperor wouldn't be able to do it easily, unless his cultivation in the art of matrices is extremely strong and he can find the weakness of the matrix. However, it will take some time to break it open. This time is definitely enough for reinforcements to arrive, King Yewu said as he stood in front of the waterside pavilion of the villa on Night Moon. Thank you, Martial Uncle. Night Sorrow poured a cup of wine for King Yewu and handed it over. After the formation is refined, it can be used to attack. If an emperor is attacked, he will definitely die. If an emperor doesn't run, he won't live either, King Yewu said to Night Sorrow. Disciple's true body will be cultivating in Yewu Mountain. My clone will be used for battle. I'll let a Luo refine this formation later, Night Sorrow said to King Yewu. After the wedding, Night Sorrow had introduced his family, wife and children to King Yewu. Cultivating a doppelganger is the mainstream for cultivators. However, the doppelganger technique I've cultivated allows me to have 2 doppelgangers. I'll pass it on to you later. Your soul power is quite strong, so you can cultivate it. Actually, these 3 doppelganger techniques aren't difficult to cultivate. It's just that it requires a lot of soul power. Almost no one can cultivate them. After you've cultivated the Ling Tian Spear technique, your soul power will improve, so you can cultivate this doppelganger technique, said King Yewu to Yishang. Martial uncle, disciple has cultivated 2 clones a long time ago. One of them has fused with the origin hall of the 9-domain world. It can't leave the 9-domain world. In other words, it can only deal with the matters of the 9-domain world and can only fight in the 9-domain world, Night Sorrow said. You've already cultivated it? Very good. King Yewu was stunned when he heard Night Sorrow's words. King Yewu stayed in the ethereal kingdom for 2 days before returning to the divine capital. That was where he needed to be. As Dachura was already an Emperor Realm cultivator, it wasn't difficult for him to refine the core of the Night Moon Villa's defensive array. He quickly recognized the Ice Dragon's Dragon Pearl as its master and could fully control the array. This made Night Sorrow feel relieved. We don't dare to return to the divine capital. There's no emperor here, Pu Luo said. Yeah. They're all imperial emperors. If there's no emperor here, they'll run away after a fight. No one can control them. Lin Piamiao was also troubled by this problem. Lin Piamiao's original body and Fentian's original body had already followed King Yewu back to the divine capital. They still had to cultivate at the Yawo Mountain. What's wrong with that? We'll stay on both sides. Ruisi, you return to the divine capital and organize the information we've gathered. If there's anyone you need to take down, come and inform us. We'll stay on both sides and see if they dare to cause trouble. With the Emperor Realm teleportation array, it'll be convenient to travel between the 2 cities. Great Demon King said. Yuzhu, come back with me. If I'm alone there, it'll be easy for others to take down. Ruisi said. Ruisi's words were met with disdain from the group. Even Pu Luo turned his head and looked to the side. What's wrong with your eyes? Don't you know what we've been doing? If they see me alone there, it'll be strange if they don't do something to me. Ruisi said. Ruisi's words made sense. Yuzhu and Ruisi returned to the divine capital. Great Demon King and Pu Luo stayed in the Night Moon Villa while Fentian went to the Star Moon City to wait for the Demon Wing clan. The spies of the Misty Dynasty were all on the move, looking for traces of the Yuan clan led by Yuan Ji in the Celestial Realm. Before, there was no news, so they didn't take it seriously. This time it was Lin Piamiao's idea. In a few days they found some clues and found a few small forces of the Yuan clan. Following the spies and divination, they found the teleportation location between the Celestial Realm and the Celestial Realm. How do we deal with it? After receiving the clue, Lin Piamiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. According to the location of the teleportation array, the Celestial Realm is close to the area controlled by Yuan Ji. The teleportation array can be connected. I'll sneak in first and set up our own teleportation array. This way, when we attack them, we won't be restricted by the teleportation array. We can fight however we want. Night Sorrow said. Break in, tear down their teleportation array and set up our own teleportation array. Can't we close the door and take care of them slowly? Lin Piamiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. That's possible, but it's a bad plan. If we attack, they will be alerted and hide. The Demon Wing clan can avoid divination. If they hide in the Celestial Realm, we won't be able to find them. There are still hidden dangers. I'll think of a way to sneak in and set up a backup plan. Then we'll think about how to deal with them. Besides, we can't be sure if the Demon Wing clan is in the Celestial Realm. Night Sorrow said his idea. Master Lin, if we follow Night Sorrow's idea, it'll be safer. Pu Luo said. And I'm just giving my opinion. I'm not good at this. Lin Piamiao nodded. Chapter 1808. This guy has a good brain. He's quite thorough, the Great Demon King said. The world he came from has experienced many world wars. The wars he led were all victories. He should be better at this. Lin Piamiao smiled. This was her man's glory. It won't be easy to sneak in through their teleportation formation without being noticed, right? Pu Luo, who had been thinking, said. I'm also thinking about this. Pu Luo, what would you do if you were in charge? The Great Demon King asked Pu Luo. I'll create an illusion formation disk and affect the consciousness of the teleportation formation guards. If it's an emperor, I can't do it. I'll have to knock him out with a sneak attack, but that'll expose me. What about you, Great Demon King? Hu Luo asked the Great Demon King. I don't have a choice. I can only knock him out with a brick. It's very difficult to sneak through a teleportation formation guarded by an emperor without being noticed. I can't do it, the Great Demon King said. Night Sorrow can do it. Lin Piaomia was very confident in Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow followed the spy to Yuanji's former territory. It was now under Wufeng Prefecture's jurisdiction. Night Sorrow and the spy first arrived at Wufeng Legion's encampment. The commander was Peng Wanli, the former commander of Cangning Legion's Flying Legion. Lord Night is here. Peng Wanli was surprised to see Night Sorrow. Long time no see. Night Sorrow threw a jar of wine to Peng Wanli. Haha, Lord Night is generous. Peng Wanli caught the wine jar and gave Night Sorrow a thumbs up. Night Sorrow then told Peng Wanli that he planned to set up a teleportation formation here. He couldn't let anything go wrong, so he wanted the Flying Legion to guard it. Lord, don't worry. Who dares to cause trouble in our encampment? Peng Wanli promised. Night Sorrow then set up a teleportation formation. The teleportation crystal was also installed. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation D. Sir Feudal Lord, Wanli has handled this matter well for you. Sir, can you talk to my 2 manor lords and allow me to return? I'm already an emperor, yet I still don't have a wife. My Peng family needs a descendant, Peng Wanli hurriedly said as he watched Yishang set up a teleportation array to leave. Can't you just leave your clone here and return to Ethereal Imperial City with your main body? Yishan looked at Peng Wanli with a puzzled expression. How can I? Sir Overlord, you should know about Cangning's violent temper. Why don't you tell me about it? Peng Wanli's expression was rather interesting when Cangning was mentioned. Alright, I'll tell Cangning about it when I'm done. Yishan nodded. After Knight's teleportation formation's teleportation formation. Lord, within the range of our soul power, there's a white mansion 1,000 miles to the east of the City Lord's mansion. Their teleportation formation is hidden there. The spy reported to Night Sorrow. Brother, thank you for your hard work. Leave the rest to me. Take this and have some tea. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and transferred tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones into it. Lord, there's no need for that. The spy was a little scared. Night Sorrow used to be a soldier, so I know how hard it is for everyone. Take it. Night Sorrow patted the spy's shoulder. He then used his leakless true body to hide his presence and approached the White Mansion. Night Sorrow was thinking of a way to sneak in. He couldn't let the other party discover him. If they did, they would destroy the teleportation formation. Night Sorrow believed that there would be more than one teleportation formation connecting the Celestial Realm and the Tianjiang domain. With Yu Wenji's experience, he would definitely have a few backup teleportation formations. Therefore, if there was any trouble, the guards would destroy them without hesitation. When he was still a few hundred miles away from the White Mansion, Night Sorrow stopped. He then used his power of merit and said, "Wind, rise." His words were law. A gale appeared between heaven and earth. The gale blew wildly in the city. Night Sorrow entered the 8-dragon cauldron and followed the gale toward the White Mansion. It wasn't the first time that Night Sorrow had used external forces and spatial treasures to get close to his target. Back in the Ice Dragon realm, he had gotten close to the people of the Shenwu Great World. As the gale blew, the 8-dragon cauldron, which had shrunk to the size of a grain of sand, entered the White Mansion. Night Sorrow used his soul power to investigate and found the location of the teleportation formation. The underground structure of the mansion was very developed, surpassing the buildings on the surface. The teleportation formation was located in the core palace of the underground structure. Following the gale, Night Sorrow controlled the 8-dragon cauldron to hide at the entrance of the underground structure. Night Sorrow didn't dare to move recklessly, fearing that he would be discovered. There was a monarch guarding the underground teleportation formation. In a big city, monarchs couldn't hide as they would be easily discovered by the people of the Ethereal Dynasty. Therefore they could only stay in a small city. This monarch was called Yu Wenqing, who used to be the ruler of the Yuan family. Yu Wenji couldn't establish himself in the Ethereal Dynasty, so he returned to the Tianjiang domain. Naturally, Yu Wenqing had to give up his position and take the initiative to guard the teleportation formation. Wait for the opportunity. Night Sorrow knew that he couldn't act rashly as there wouldn't be many opportunities. Once he was discovered, the opportunity would be gone. Not long after, someone arrived and wanted to enter the underground structure. When this black-robed king arrived in front of the 8-dragon cauldron, Night Sorrow controlled the 8-dragon cauldron to move a bit. Following the movement of the robe, the 8-dragon cauldron pierced into the lower hem of the robe like a steel needle. Actually, the safest thing would be for Night Sorrow to control the 8-dragon cauldron to pierce into the bottom of this man's boots. However, Night Sorrow wouldn't do that. Being stepped on was a disgrace and it would hurt one's luck. Night Sorrow rejected it from the depths of his soul. This black-robed man directly arrived in front of the teleportation formation. Lord, this subordinate has been monitoring the Night Moon Villa of the Ethereal Dynasty. I have some gains and I need to report to the old ancestor. The black-robed man bowed to Yu Wenqing. All right, go. Yu Wenqing glanced at the black-robed man and nodded. He had already confirmed the aura, and there was no mistake. The black-robed man entered the teleportation formation and started the teleportation. 15 minutes later, the teleportation was completed, and the man appeared in a mansion. The mansion was surrounded by Heaven Monarch guards. After walking out of the mansion, the black-robed man walked towards a teleportation formation in the center of the city. He was going to teleport to the inner realm. Success. After successfully entering the Tianjiang domain, Night Sorrow didn't plan to continue following this black-robed man. He wanted to do his own thing. There were plenty of opportunities to investigate Yu Wenji's lair. First, he had to connect the Tianjiang domain and the celestial realm. With a slight vibration, Night Sorrow floated down from the black-robed man's body. He used the wind to reach a hidden place and walked out of the 8-dragon cauldron. Chapter 1809. Yishan had set up teleportation portals many times in the dark, so he was very familiar with the process. After flying for thousands of miles, Night Sorrow set up a teleportation array and inserted a teleportation crystal. This way he could return to the celestial realm and set up a corresponding teleportation array. Permanent. After flying for some distance, Night Sorrow set up a second teleportation array. When the third teleportation array was set up, Night Sorrow inserted the teleportation crystal of the Flying Rock Army's camp. As the teleportation crystal lit up, the celestial realm and the celestial realm were connected. Turning around, Night Sorrow felt very safe. He had set up an illusion array around the teleportation array. It was very safe. Even if the enemy divined this place, they wouldn't be able to find it. They wouldn't be able to deduce the location. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that it was meaningless to act alone. He couldn't kill Yu Wenji either. This was a competition between forces or even between races. It was better to go back and discuss it with everyone. In addition, Lin Piaomiao, Great Demon King, Pu Luo and the others were all very strong. After entering the teleportation array, Night Sorrow arrived at the Flying Rock Army's camp. Seeing Night Sorrow return from the teleportation array, Peng Wanli, who was patrolling the camp with a glass of wine, was surprised. Lord, you're back. Yes, I'm going back to the ethereal imperial city. Look after this place. Night Sorrow finished speaking and entered the teleportation array of the Flying Rock Army's camp. Lord, don't forget to tell Tsang Ning about my matter. Peng Wanli shouted at Night Sorrow. After a few teleportations, Night Sorrow arrived at the ethereal imperial city and returned to the Night Moon Villa. Seeing Night Sorrow enter the villa's hall, Lin Piaomiao poured a glass of water for Night Sorrow. If it's not easy to handle, think about it quietly. Yes, this is really not something to be anxious about. If we don't alert the enemy, it's indeed very difficult. Great Demon King said. What are you all thinking about? I've already set up the teleportation array. You all think about the battle tactics and strategies and see how to handle it. Night Sorrow took a sip of water. What did you say? Has it been set up? Pu Luo stood up from his chair. Night Sorrow nodded. Yes, the teleportation array has been connected. I also set up 2 more teleportation arrays as backup. They can be connected at any time. Beautiful. Well done. The Great Demon King patted the armrest of his chair. What should we do next? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. You guys can discuss this, but call me when you want to kill him. Yu Wenji still owes me a piece of the colored glass sacred bone. I must get it back, Night Sorrow said. Don't think we're ignorant. Although we didn't probe you, the Merit Emperor definitely has a glass body. You're an Imperial Emperor, so you must have a glass saint bone. The Great Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. It's true that I have a glass saint bone, but he owes me that piece. How I deal with it after I get it back is another matter. I still have a son and a daughter. Can't I give it to anyone? Night Sorrow said. Then, everyone discussed the following arrangements. In the end, they would use the elites to enter the Sky General region. Ordinary members were fine. If they were discovered, they would alert the enemy. The great demon king and Pu Luo's doppelganger left the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, Dechura, and Sikong Chuyu sat facing each other. Aluo, how's the control of the array? Night Sorrow looked at Dechura and asked. After refining the Ice Dragon Pearl, the array can be controlled at will, Dechura said. It wasn't easy to turn danger into safety this time. It was also a wake-up call for us. Something like this can't happen a second time. Night Sorrow was a little scared. Whether it was Mandala or Sikong Chuyu, he couldn't bear the consequences of anything happening to either of them. With this defensive array you can rest assured. But we don't have your messaging crystal anymore, Dechura said. Night Sorrow made a few messaging crystals on the spot and sent them to Dechura and Sikong Chuyu. When did 6th senior sister and 9th senior sister go back? Night Sorrow didn't see Aoi, Yang Lei, or Shueshi when he returned this time. A few days ago, eldest senior brother came. The 9 Regions World's Medicine Valley was going to hold a disciple recruitment ceremony. Coincidentally, the senior brothers also missed the 2 senior sisters and invited the 2 senior sisters to attend the ceremony. Shueshi was also invited, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. Then Chuyu, why didn't you go back? Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu and asked. Chuyu was worried that with you back, this place would be empty, Dechura said. Night Sorrow turned his head and sighed. He felt a little sour in his heart. He didn't let down the world, but he let down his wife. It's nothing. Night Sorrow, don't think too much about it, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. When I cultivate to the emperor rank and can control my own fate, I will accompany you around. Night Sorrow looked at Sikong Chuyu and said. Sikong Chuyu nodded. Her eyes were filled with tears. She knew Night Sorrow's feelings for her. Regardless of whether he got married or not, his feelings for her would always be the same. That's strange. Eldest senior brother came to pick up the 2 senior sisters and didn't think to call me. It's not very kind of him to exclude me, Night Sorrow muttered. Don't mind this. Everyone knows that you are a busy person. Unless it is absolutely necessary, no one will disturb you, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. When is the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony? Do you want to go back? Night Sorrow looked at the girls and asked. If you want to go back, we will accompany you. I remember the first time I went to Danding City. That was close to 200 years ago, Sikong Chuyu said. When we go back, I will tell the great demon king about this. I plan to stay at the Bamboo Forest Peak in Medicine Valley for a few days, Night Sorrow decided. Night Sorrow found the great demon king and Pu Luo. Lin Piaomiao called Song Ning and Luo Yuandao over. Everyone sat together and told them about the situation. You are really tired. It's good to rest for a few days. With these 2 from the Misty Dynasty to cooperate with us, it will be fine, Pu Luo said. After Lin Piaomiao left Song Ning a message crystal, Night Sorrow brought the girls to Star Moon City and then teleported to the 9 Regions world. It feels good to be home, Night Sorrow breathed out after feeling the aura of the 9 Regions world. Let's go and see where you used to cultivate, Lin Piaomiao was more excited. Hehe. The only emperor of the 9 Regions world, Night Sorrow, when you go back, the Medicine Valley will line the streets to welcome you, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. No, I don't want that. I just want some peace and quiet. We will sneak back to the Bamboo Forest Peak and see the senior brothers. As for the others, forget about it. It will only disturb their minds, Night Sorrow said. Then, energy wrapped around the girls and they began to fly. In other worlds, Night Sorrow was flying at the speed of an emperor. However, in the 9 Regions world it was different. His speed was more than 10 times. Night Sorrow was the ruler here. The energy of heaven and earth, the rules, and the general situation were all under his control. Soon, Night Sorrow brought the girls to the Bamboo Forest Peak in the Medicine Valley. Chapter 1810. The sword-wielding men's voices were so loud that even Night Sorrow was startled. Calm down everyone. I'm from the Medicine Valley. Hold on, someone's coming. Night Sorrow sensed that his senior brothers and sisters, who had been drinking tea and chatting in the bamboo grove, were flying over. They had already found out what was going on here. Gong Xian led his junior brothers and sisters to the bamboo grove. When he saw Night Sorrow he was very excited. He walked over to Night Sorrow and gave him a hug. 13, you're back. Eldest senior brother, why didn't you inform me that 11th senior brother and 12th senior brother are not back? Night Sorrow looked around and realized that the 2 senior brothers were missing. They went to cultivate with the god-slaying team. I didn't want to delay them. Besides, I couldn't contact them, Gong Xian said. Eldest senior brother, can you tell them that this is my territory? Knight Sorrow said as he pointed at the sword-wielding disciples. Bastard, this is your 13th senior brother. Haven't you seen his portrait in the sect? Shi Tianlin scolded because he felt embarrassed. These were his grand disciples. These disciples were a little dumbfounded. They had seen Knight Sorrow's portrait before, but they were not prepared for this. Su Feng, do you remember Su Feng? They are Su Feng's disciples, Shi Tianlin said. Yes, Su 12. When I joined the sect he was older than me, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. Why are you still standing there? Admit your mistake. Shi Tianlin roared. 8th senior brother, there's no need. Do what you need to do. I'm going to stay here for a few days, Knight Sorrow said to the frightened disciples. The disciples bowed to Knight Sorrow and the others and left. Just as Knight Sorrow and the others were about to speak, the 8-dragon cauldron above Danding Cliff in the Medicine Valley shone brightly and enveloped the entire cliff. On Danding Cliff, the statue of Knight Sorrow was covered with rays of light. What's going on? Knight Sorrow asked the 8-dragon cauldron spirit. Master has returned. The subbody of the 8 dragons cauldron is evolving, said the spirit of the 8 dragons cauldron. All right. I can't even keep it a secret if I want to. Knight Sorrow felt helpless. There shouldn't be anyone coming to disturb us. Come here and pass down my orders. Taishan Peak will not receive any visitors, Gong Xian shouted to Su Feng's disciple. Afterwards, everyone casually chatted and drank tea. Everyone was very happy because there were sincere feelings between them. At this time, the elders of the main peak of the Medicine Valley and the peak masters of the other peaks had all come to Danding Cliff. They looked at Danding Cliff, which was full of flashing lights and confusion. Master, I was patrolling Taishan Peak and saw that the disciples of Taishan Peak had sealed off the mountain. I don't understand what's going on, a disciple of the Medicine Valley reported to Chu Lingxiao with a bow. It's nothing. Tighten the patrols at Taishan Peak. The Taishan Peak will not be lifted. No one is allowed to break into the mountain, said Chu Lingxiao. Why? Duan Lei, the peak master of Cloud Sea Peak, asked in confusion. No need to ask. He's back. I guess he wants to be quiet and doesn't want to see anyone. He's also the treasurer of the senior brothers and sisters of Taishan Peak. Therefore the Taishan Peak ordered the mountain to be sealed off, said Lin Jingyi. Look at JL 4, Chapter O, Section SV. Yes, he likes to be quiet and doesn't like to show off. It's been like this for so many years. We want to see him but we don't have the chance, Yan Beiji of the North Peak sighed and said. Yu and Jiang Han, who were standing behind them, looked at each other. They had fought side by side with Knight Sorrow. They were happy to hear that Knight Sorrow had returned. However, after hearing Yan Beiji's words, they knew that it was not appropriate to see Knight Sorrow. Since Danding Cliff has such a reaction, let's temporarily seal it off for a few days. We'll see how it goes, said Chu Lingxiao to Elder Su, who was guarding Danding Cliff. Elder Su nodded. Danding Cliff could be said to be the signature of the Medicine Valley. Nothing could happen to it. After that, the group of people dispersed. Everyone had their own thoughts. They had experienced what happened 200 years ago and knew what the Medicine Valley was like 200 years ago. After Knight Sorrow appeared, the Medicine Valley was reborn. Recently, the Tianding Gate of the Tianshan world had the idea of merging with the Medicine Valley. Everyone in the Medicine Valley was looking into this matter. If it was in the past, the Medicine Valley would naturally be considered as returning to the Danding Gate. However, things were different now. The Medicine Valley's strength and prestige were not inferior to the Tianding Gate. In fact, they were far superior. While drinking and chatting, Gong Xian also told Knight Sorrow about this matter. What did Master, Grand Elder, and the others say? Yishang asked. They didn't say anything. They just let me make the arrangements. The Tianding King is currently in the Medicine Valley. The Medicine Valley is the #1 sect in the 9 domains world. If it merged with the Danding Gate, the Medicine Valley would disappear. Many people would be upset. First of all, we can't accept this. The Medicine Valley has gone through too much to reach where it is today. It shouldn't disappear in the long river of history, said Gong Xian. Where is the Tianding King? I'll talk to him, asked Knight Sorrow. He couldn't accept the disappearance of the Medicine Valley. He's in the VIP building in the main hall. The main reason is because the inheritance of the Medicine Valley is undoubtedly the Tianding Gate. No one can deny this, said Huanan. I'll deal with this matter later, said Knight Sorrow to Gong Xian and the others. 13. You must protect the Medicine Valley. This is 6th Senior Sister's home. Always voice was a little choked up. 6th Senior Sister, don't worry. No matter the price, I will protect the Medicine Valley, said Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow, don't think too much about some things. I don't think the Tianding King will make unreasonable demands. The Medicine Valley has been developing independently all these years, said Lin Piaomiao. I know. I'm familiar with the Tianding King. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. Everyone calm down. There's nothing 13 can't handle. There's still food in the kitchen. We don't lack wine. Shueshi, go and hunt some game. The men chop wood and light the fire. The women cook. Let's get to work, said Yang Lei. Old Nine, why aren't you stressed? Asked Huanan, puzzled. It's simple. I won't admit it if it's too much. Which side is 13 on? Is he on our side? Yang Lei said with a smile. Her thoughts were simple. If the Tianding Gate was unreasonable, she wouldn't admit it. Simple and crude is also the most effective. Old Nine, 8th senior brother will toast to you later, said Shi Tianlin. After drinking with his senior sisters and brothers, Night Sorrow left the Bamboo Forest Peak and went to the VIP building in the Medicine Valley. The VIP building in the Medicine Valley was full of people. This was the first time the Medicine Valley was accepting disciples after the change in the apprenticeship ceremony. Some people came to watch the ceremony and congratulate them. The Tianding King Yu Yangyu and Hua Yunpeng were all there. After Yi Shang arrived, Heavenly Cauldron Monarch cupped his fists to greet Yi Shang. Yi Shang also cupped his fists in return. One was showing respect to the emperor while the other was showing respect to the elders of the sect. Chapter 1811. We were just talking about you. How are you doing in the celestial realm? Hua Yunpeng asked as he looked at Night Sorrow. I just came back today. I plan to stay in the Bamboo Forest Peak for a few days. After drinking with my senior brothers, I'll come and pay my respects to my master and a few elders, Night Sorrow said as he sat down. Since you're back, stay here for a few more days. Also, I have some things to discuss with you. Now that the development of the 9-domain world has surpassed that of the mysterious sky world, Elder Xiang wants to relocate the Tianding Gate to the 9-domain world, Yu Yangyu said. Just now, senior brother told me about this. I feel that I should consider it carefully. After all, the words Medicine Valley implicate many people's feelings. Night Sorrow brought up the matter of the sect merging. Domain Master, you're thinking too much. This matter hasn't been officially brought up. Many things haven't been brought up yet. I'm just talking to your master. Moving the Tianding Gate to the 9-domain world will only be a branch of the Medicine Valley. After all, the Medicine Valley is developing well. Even if the Tianding Gate becomes a branch, it will still be better than in the mysterious sky world. The Medicine Valley will still be the Medicine Valley. This will not change. Therefore, there's no need to worry, Tianding King said. Thank you, Elder Xiang. The Medicine Valley is the #1 sect in the 9-domain world. Therefore, nothing can happen to it. We can't let it disappear into history. Please understand, King. Night Sorrow stood up and cupped his hands towards the Tianding King. Are your senior brothers and sisters worried? Hua Yunpeng said with a smile. Yes. Everyone is very nervous. Night Sorrow didn't hide it from them. Later we'll discuss this matter with your senior brother. You don't have to worry. There won't be any big changes, Yu Yangyu said. After chatting with Yu Yangyu and the others for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the Bamboo Forest Peak. At this time the Bamboo Forest Peak was still very lively. Everyone made a fire and roasted the Mongolian gazelle. There were fruits, tea and wine on the table next to them. Everyone was having a good time. However, Yi Shan knew that everyone was under pressure because of the merger of the sections. After sitting down, Night Sorrow told everyone about Tianding King's intentions. Master didn't tell us and let us panic. Now we are at ease. 13 is the most effective, Shi Tianlin said. After listening to Night Sorrow's words, everyone felt at ease. After eating the roasted lamb and drinking some wine, everyone left. After resting for a night, Night Sorrow came to the bottom of Danding Cliff. The flowing light on Danding Cliff was still flickering, and the energy was rolling. It was much more ferocious than usual. Many Medicine Valley disciples were watching from the periphery. The disciple recruitment ceremony was about to begin. Everyone was surprised that something like this happened. Many people didn't know why. Night Sorrow nodded to Lin Jingyi, Jianghan and the others who he knew. Then he bowed to Elder Su who had been guarding Danding Cliff. He walked to the bottom of Danding Cliff, stepped on the cliff and flew up. Every time Night Sorrow's feet touched the ground, his body would fly hundreds to hundreds of feet. Seeing Night Sorrow flying in the rolling energy without being affected at all, everyone was surprised and began to talk. Nangong Dai, who was standing in front of the disciples, frowned. Don't talk. As for who he is, don't you see the statue on Danding Cliff? After hearing Nangong Dai's words, the disciples who were talking were surprised. The owner of the statue on Danding Cliff was a legend in the Medicine Valley and the Nine Domains world. After flying up, Danding Cliff, which was tens of thousands of feet high, was under Night Sorrow's feet. Although they couldn't go up, the disciples of the Medicine Valley had investigated the situation on Danding Cliff. No one could climb to the top of Danding Cliff. Today someone was carrying it with one hand on his back and directly reaching the top. After looking at the Eight-Dragon Cauldron, Night Sorrow communicated with the weapon spirit of the Eight-Dragon Cauldron. The Medicine Valley couldn't be broken by anyone below the Emperor level. Even a beginner Emperor-level cultivator couldn't do it. The Eight-Dragon Cauldron could gather the surrounding energy to attack. After hearing this news, Night Sorrow was quite satisfied. The safety of the Medicine Valley was extremely important to him. He only wanted to be able to restrain anyone below the Emperor level. If any cultivator above the Emperor level appeared, they would all be under his control. After sensing it, Night Sorrow waved his arm and moved the Holy Spirit Stone into the Eight-Dragon Cauldron. Fyong Tu Geoffrey, a read novel Why the Holy Spirit Stone flew into the Eight-Dragon Cauldron in a semicircle like a white waterfall. Night Sorrow didn't lack Holy Spirit Stones, so he planned to put more in the Eight-Dragon Cauldron. This way the energy on Danding Cliff would be denser, and it would make the cultivation environment for the disciples of the Medicine Valley better. In addition, Danding Cliff and the Eight-Dragon Cauldron were in a cycle. Unless it was absorbed by the disciples of the Medicine Valley, the energy wouldn't be lost. That's a big deal. This time, there are more than 2 million Holy Spirit Stones, the Tianding King, who was watching from the mountain opposite Danding Cliff, said to Hua Yunpeng. For the development of the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow spared no effort. The Medicine Valley today is the result of his hard work, Hua Yunpeng said with some emotion. After doing all this, Night Sorrow turned around and looked at the people below the cliff. He didn't want to go down Danding Cliff. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to stand the etiquette of greeting each and every one of them. Besides his status, he was also the elder of many people in the Medicine Valley. He's running away? Yu, Gulin and Jianghan, who were watching from below Danding Cliff, looked at each other. If you were him, you would run away too. Would you be willing to be surrounded by a large group of people? Yu said with a smile. Of course. In the past, the Medicine Valley was oppressed by the Golden Flame sect and bullied by the Red Cloud sect. But now, our robes are our glory. Gulin tidied up his robes. Where are the two brothers from the Shi family? They aren't here. If they were, let them charge forward. We'll go to the bamboo forest peak and drink with great Elder Yi. Gulin said with a smile. Coward. You don't dare, but I dare. A man in a blue robe appeared. He was Shi Yunhai, who was close to Night Sorrow. You came back just in time. Yu said with a smile. He knew that Shi Yunxiao and Shi Yunhai were traveling around to improve their strength. It's the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony. I had to come back to take a look. But I didn't expect Great Elder Yi to come back, Shi Yunhai said. 13. The Medicine Valley is really lively. Aoi said when she saw Night Sorrow return to the bamboo forest peak. Aoi was in a good mood now that the sect merger wouldn't become a hidden worry. Do you know that the 9-domain world has unlimited room for development in the future? Uncle King Yo Wu said that the 9-domain world is the prototype of the celestial realm, Night Sorrow said with a smile. So powerful? Yang Lei was stunned. King Yo Wu only told Night Sorrow some things. The others didn't know about it. Yes, so the Medicine Valley's prospects are very good. Let Ning Yun and Chiwei come back to teach disciples. I'm a disciple of the Medicine Valley. I need to have an inheritance. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. Chapter 18:12. Ning Yun and July were cultivating in the city in the sky because the secondary body of the Haotian Pagoda was currently in the city in the sky. Night Sorrow's clone in the Heaven Sealing Hall informed Ning Yun and July to come to the Medicine Valley. After Ning Yun and July received the notice, they took their children to the Medicine Valley and went to the bamboo forest peak to meet Night Sorrow. Ning Yun's child was called Ning Jing. He was also a young man. The three of them met Night Sorrow. Ning Yun still didn't know why his master called him here. It's almost time for the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment hall. You and Chiwei are both my disciples. You also need to take in disciples and develop the legacy. Yishang looked at Ning Yun and Chiwei and said, Master, you are accepting disciples at this apprentice hall? Ning Yun asked in surprise. I am a disciple of the Medicine Valley. I've been traveling outside these years. You and July haven't stayed in the Medicine Valley, but this doesn't deny that we are the core disciples of the Medicine Valley. You will also need to settle down for a period of time in the future, so I am opening the apprentice hall. Night Sorrow nodded. We understand. Ning Yun and July bowed to Night Sorrow. Then I will set up a dojo for you and your wife later, Gong Xian said with a smile. He was very happy. In fact, this was what many people wanted to see. Gong Xian and the others didn't care about the apprentice hall. They all stayed in the bamboo forest peak because it was rare for Night Sorrow to come back. There were only 2 disciples in the Taishan peak. It was very difficult for Night Sorrow to accept another disciple, but Night Sorrow's disciples were already very good at accepting disciples. When you accept disciples, first focus on their temperament, then on their aptitude. Before the apprentice hall, you must first come to my statue at Pill Tripod Cliff to pay your respects, Night Sorrow instructed. Uncle, don't worry. Since July and Ning Yun are accepting disciples, we naturally have to bring them to pay respects to the Grandmaster, July said with a smile. That's not the reason. Do you think I care about that? Night Sorrow smiled. 13. Why is that? Wanan asked. Ning Yun and July were not the only ones who didn't understand. Gong Xian and the others didn't understand either. Night Sorrow then told them that he had injected a strand of soul power into the sculpture at Danding Cliff. Originally, his statue at Danding Cliff had been worshipped by many people over the years. It already contained a very strong power of merit and faith. He injected his soul power into it and could sense everything outside. If an evil person came, he would be able to sense it. 13. In the future, when the Medicine Valley accepts disciples, all the new disciples will go to Danding Cliff to pay their respects. That way we will be able to get rid of those with bad morals, Wuxia said excitedly. Second senior brother, how can I care about so many things? I can only pay attention to the matters of my own sect, Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's settled then. In the future, during the Medicine Valley's disciple recruitment ceremony, the new disciples must go to Danding Cliff to pay respects to our merit emperor. Gong Xian made a decision. Eldest senior brother, that's not appropriate. There are many people in the Medicine Valley who are older than me. It will make people feel bad, Night Sorrow said. 13. You are the Realm Lord of the 9 Domains world, the Realm Lord of the Chaos Realm, and the only Merit Emperor of Reincarnation. Who can't afford to pay respects to you? Yang Lei said with a smile. Then Wuxia asked people to arrange a dojo for Ning Yun and July. Normally there should be 2 dojos. However, because the 2 were husband and wife, 1 was enough. The Medicine Valley was no longer the Medicine Valley of the past. With the development of the 9 Domains world, the mountains and rivers were growing. The Medicine Valley's area had expanded by more than 10 times. There were also several mountains around the main peak of Taishan Peak. There was no problem in building a dojo. Because there was still time, Night Sorrow accompanied Sikong Chuyu to pay respects to his father-in-law, Sikong Tianding, and mother-in-law. Then they returned to the bamboo forest peak to settle down. As for the disciple acceptance ceremony, Night Sorrow didn't go. He just stood on Danding Cliff and watched. When he saw Shi Yunhai Yu Gulin and Jianghan, Night Sorrow came to them. Are you guys accepting disciples? If you don't have anything to do, let's find a place to have a drink. We haven't had a drink together for many years. No, let's drink first. Besides, the disciple acceptance ceremony won't end today. If you come out, I won't have to look for you. I originally planned to go to Taishan Peak in a while. Now there's no need. Shi Yunhai said with a smile. Night Sorrow and the others went to the back of the Medicine Valley's main peak. Shi Yunhai roasted a wild beast and they drank. Shi Yunhai and the others were very happy. It wasn't that they were happy to drink with the Emperor, Night Sorrow, but that they were still brothers in the same sect. Night Sorrow and his wife stayed in the Medicine Valley for half a month. As for the Tianding Gate moving to the Medicine Valley of the 9 Zones world, he didn't have to worry about it. As long as the Medicine Valley was stable, it was enough for him. Night Sorrow brought his wife back to the Celestial Realm. When Night Moon Villa, the Demon King and Pu Luo were talking about something. After sitting down, Night Sorrow asked, "What's the situation?" "We can confirm that Yuan Ji is in the Celestial Realm's Celestial City." Near the Celestial City's City Lord's office, an emperor of the Demon Wing clan was found. It should be a doppelganger. I think it's monitoring Yuan Ji, the Demon King said. The most important thing is the information. If we can find out all the emperors of the Demon Wing clan, we can attack. If not, we can only wait, Night Sorrow said. It's very difficult. They opened a space-time tunnel. In order to send as many people as possible, they will come with their real bodies and doppelganger. 7 people's real bodies and doppelganger make up 14 people with combat power. Maybe one of them has a real body or doppelganger on Tianhuang. That means there are at least 13 of them. The one who self-destructed is 12, Pu Luo said. Excluding the one hiding in the Human Dao Alliance in the Divine Capital and the one monitoring Yuanji, there are still 10 missing, said the Great Demon King. Who is currently in charge of the Demon Wing clan member monitoring Yuanji? Night Sorrow asked. This is a big matter. It's not suitable to leave it to others. My doppelganger will go, Pu Luo said, patting his chest. Wait for their next mission. They will definitely use the teleportation portal in the Celestial Realm to come to the Celestial Realm. When that time comes, will they still be able to hide? Night Sorrow pointed out the key point. Okay then. I will watch over the teleportation portal. I will find them, the Demon King said, accepting the mission. After spending a day at the Night Moon Villa, Night Sorrow went to the Celestial Capital. He was a little worried about Jun Xuanji, so he wanted to see how Shaimo was doing. After finding Lu Yu and asking about the situation, Night Sorrow frowned. Shaimo was still the same. He often explained cultivation techniques to Jun Xuanji. He even said that he didn't get tired of it. What are you thinking about? Yu Zhu asked Night Sorrow. Chapter 1813. After pondering for a while, Yi Shang came to a realization. The Demon Wing clan's target in the Divine Capital was not him but Jun Xuanji. But why did they come for Jun Xuanji? That was the crux of the problem. After pondering for a while, Night Sorrow had some ideas in his head, but he suppressed them. He could only wait and see. Elder Yu Zhu, how's the development of our humanitarian league going? Night Sorrow asked. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation, very good. Recently we have expanded our territory. You are a talent, Yu Zhu said. You are a good person. Yu Zhu said. It's better to take it slow. We're punishing evil and promoting good, but we still have to give some people a chance to repent. If we use violence to wipe them out, we'll lose the strength of the human race, Night Sorrow said. You don't know, right? The Elder of the Black Dragons appeared near Tianhuang City and was defeated by the 7th Elder. If he didn't run fast enough, he would have died in Tianhuang City. Of course, he's just an ordinary Elder of the Black Dragons, Yu Zhu said. What kind of grudge do the Black Dragons have with us? Night Sorrow asked. I don't know. Although we have conflicts with other Divine Beast clans, we're on the same side against the Demon Wing clan. However, the Black Dragons will attack us whenever they have the chance, Yu Zhu said. They have conflicts with other clans? Night Sorrow was surprised. Yes, you know about the Divine Devil Castle, right? It's a force that belongs to Tianhuang City. However, there are some things that only the law enforcement elders know. Back then, the great guardian of the Divine Devil Castle injured the Golden Dragon. Of course, it was just a fight. Yu Zhu told Night Sorrow some things that Night Sorrow didn't know about. The Divine Devil Castle is a force of Tianhuang City? Night Sorrow was shocked. There are some things that can't be mentioned. Perhaps I'll only understand when I reach a certain level. There are some races that are hostile to humans. The Black Dragons are the leaders and the Flying Snakes are with them. The White Tigers and the Black Dragons are good friends, but the White Tigers have never fought humans before. Yu Zhu explained to Night Sorrow. It's very complicated. If you want the human race to be stable, you have to rely on your own abilities. Night Sorrow sighed. Yes, the human race has been developing for the past few years. The Godly Devil Castle was built for the sake of unearthing human elites, said Yu Zhu. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood. The human race had been working hard all this time. It was just that ordinary people didn't know about it. After staying at the Night Moon Villa for a while, Night Sorrow arrived at the peak of Yawo Mountain. When King Yowu saw Night Sorrow, he pointed at the chair in front of him. At this moment, Lin Piaomiao's original body and Fan Tian were cultivating in seclusion. They had just passed the Heavenly Dao Tribulation and had room for improvement. Is there something wrong? King Yowu asked. Yi Shuang hesitated for a moment before asking. Disciple would like to ask, if someone's soul reincarnated and had some accomplishments before they awaken, can you place a seal on their memories of their previous life, which is to say, their memories of their original body, allowing them to walk the same path as they did in this life? Why are you asking this? You have doubts? King Yowu stood up. Disciple is a little conflicted. I'm not sure, but I have some vague ideas. Xiaomo of the Demon Wing clan has come to the divine capital. His target isn't me. Night Sorrow said. Why do you think so? King Yawu asked. The first time we met, he was very surprised to see me and even showed hostility. This means that he didn't expect me to appear at all. This means that he came to the divine capital not for the disciples but for Jun Xuanji. Yishan closed his eyes and calmed himself down. If it wasn't necessary, he really didn't want to say it. After hearing Night Sorrow's words, King Yawu fell into deep thought. Before she awakens, I can't be 100% sure. Even if the Demon Wing clan's almighty reincarnated, he wouldn't tell the ordinary Demon Wing clan members about this. The mission of these Demon Wing clan members is only to protect her and support her to the greatest extent. King Yawu explained to Night Sorrow. Disciple doesn't want to be suspicious. If it's a personal matter, Disciple can accompany her. But this involves the human race. Night Sorrow was a little distressed. It's still early. She's still far from the Imperial realm. Even if she's the reincarnation of a female almighty from the Demon Wing clan, there's still time to solve the problem. I'll help you think about this and try not to hurt her. King Yawu said. Disciple even wants to prevent her from becoming an Imperial realm. But if she's not, it's not fair to her. Night Sorrow shook his head and sighed. He really couldn't solve this matter. If she's the reincarnation of a soul, it won't be difficult for her to become an Imperial realm. First of all, the original body has incredible achievements, which means that she has some heavenly fate in her body. In addition, her cultivation talent won't be bad. There's no reason why she can't become an Imperial realm. You don't have to worry about this matter. I'll deal with it. If she's the reincarnation of a soul, I'll first determine who the aura belongs to. If she's a human or another foreign race without any misdeeds, we won't stop her from rising. If it's the other possibility, then I'm sorry. King Yawu expressed his decision. Then I'll deal with it. But I hope you can be gentler on account of the fact that we're from the same world and she's contributed to the Nine Zones world. Night Sorrow bowed to King Yawu. Don't worry. I'll make a move later. No matter if she's the reincarnation of a soul or not, I won't be in a rush, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow felt more at ease. Then he left Yawu Mountain. Although he didn't want to suspect some things, the Demon Wing clan's actions wouldn't be without reason. So, he had to have a backup plan as long as he didn't hurt Jun Xuanji. After chatting with Ruisi and Yuzhu for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa in the ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow didn't practice his spear. Instead, he drank tea and thought about things. He was worried because the Nine Zones world was very deep. It was so deep that even a realm lord like him couldn't control it. Night Sorrow felt that he had to make some arrangements. Thinking about this, Night Sorrow went to Star Moon Lake and met with Qing Emperor and Tang Jianfeng. Master, Uncle Tang, there aren't many high-level cultivators in the Nine Zones world right now. Help me set up a Monarch Realm law enforcement team to patrol the Nine Zones world. All Monarch Realm cultivators have to be recorded, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, are you afraid that an Emperor Realm cultivator will appear and go out of control, endangering the safety of the Nine Zones world? Tang Jianfeng asked. That's right. Night Sorrow nodded. If a lightning tribulation appears in the Nine Zones world as a realm lord, you should know, right? Qing Emperor looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Chapter 1814. As the realm lord, Night Sorrow knew about the lightning tribulation in the Nine Regions world. Moreover, he would rush over in time because the tribulation of cultivators would not end quickly. Of course, as the Nine Regions world developed, its surface area would expand infinitely. In the future, Night Sorrow might not have enough time to reach a remote place. However, by then he should have the ability to solve some problems. Night Sorrow, you are worried and confused, Qing Emperor said with a smile. Master, Qing Emperor's dynasty is the first force to develop the Nine Regions world. How is the situation now? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. Fortunately, the construction of the city has already reached a certain scale. However, we did not let our people go out to train. After all, we have to give the natives of the Nine Regions world some opportunities, Qing Emperor said. He was still arranging the development of the forces under his command in the Nine Regions world according to his previous plans. Night Sorrow thought for a moment and said, after a while, we will be able to develop freely. The elites of the Nine Regions world need space and time to develop. Those who are slightly weaker will need other forces to bring them along. When the time comes, they will join other forces and learn from their masters. Taking advantage of opportunities to rise up is also a path. Realm Lord, can the people of our Shenhuang Great World develop in the 9 regions world? The 9 regions world is full of vitality. This is something that the 3 great worlds of our primal chaos realm cannot compare to. Tang Jianfeng was also interested. Yes, but for now it can only be built. In the next 30 years, high-level cultivators cannot go to the 9 regions world to train and seek resources. Night Sorrow said to Tang Jianfeng. Okay. As the Realm Lord, you are really considerate of the lives of the 9 regions world. Naturally, we will not break this order. Tang Jianfeng nodded. Our ice dragons also want to develop. We will also make a base in your 9 regions world. The Far East Ice Field. We will give the Far East Ice Field of your Eastern Profound Domain to the ice dragons. Shilia appeared and also asked for territory. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation. Uncle Lai, you can develop in the Eastern Ice Fields, but there is one place you must leave behind. East Snow Mountain is where my Auntie Faye lives and cultivates. In addition, you cannot attack my Auntie Faye when she goes in or out of the Eastern Ice Fields, Night Sorrow said. Uncle Lai, Shi Tai and Shi, you have all met King Wu. There won't be any misunderstandings. The ice dragons won't set foot in East Snow Mountain, Shi Lai promised. Then it's settled. Night Sorrow nodded. After that, Night Sorrow went to see Fan Tian. Fan Tian stayed in an illusion array within the Star Moon City, along with the Divine Capital's law enforcement team and a few protectors. Senior brother, thank you for your hard work. Night Sorrow took out a teapot and brewed a pot of tea before inviting the other protectors to sit down. There's no need for such polite words between us senior and junior brothers. The environment of this Star Moon Lake is not bad, it's quiet and pleasant. Fan Tian said with a smile. After asking if there was anyone who needed his cooperation and chatting for a while, Night Sorrow returned to the Night Moon Villa and continued to cultivate his spear arts. Every day, Night Sorrow spent his time cultivating his spear arts. Everything else was on track. On this day, the Great Demon King found Night Sorrow. It won't be easy to dig them out. The guy who is watching Yuanji hasn't left Sky General City during this period of time. There are only 2 emperors in Sky General City, including Yuanji. This means that those people aren't in Sky General City. Each of them has a doppelganger. The doppelganger and the original body are in 2 different places. They don't need to meet to send messages, so there's no need for them to leave. Night Sorrow said. Then do you think we can find an excuse that isn't a racial conflict and get rid of the demon-winged clan member who is watching Yuanji? Then they can send more people out. That way we can follow the vine and find the melon. The Great Demon King said. Then the Great Demon King explained his plan. Night Sorrow couldn't help but admit that the Great Demon King wasn't easy to deal with. He was full of evil tricks. The Great Demon King's plan was to pretend to be a secluded rogue cultivator in the Sky General world. He would first find trouble with Yuanji and say that Yuanji didn't deserve the title of Domain Lord. Then he would kill the chicken to warn the monkey and get rid of the demon-winged clan's emperor. Of course he wouldn't kill Yuanji. He would use the excuse that he didn't want to be the Domain Lord to get some benefits. In the end, he would either leave or follow Yuanji's invitation and sneak into the Sky General City Lord Manor. That way he would be able to come into contact with the demon-winged clan. Great Demon King, you're shameless. Lin Piaomiao looked at the Great Demon King with disdain. As long as it's to eliminate evil, the method doesn't matter. Isn't that right? Lin Piaomiao, have you always been white? If you were white, would you be able to drag Night Sorrow down to your bed? I can't be bothered to talk to you. The Great Demon King looked at Lin Piaomiao with disdain. Alright, hurry up and go. Night Sorrow was speechless. If he said anything else, the 2 of them would start fighting. The Great Demon King left. He wanted to switch between his original body and his clone. It wasn't suitable for his clone to do these things. The demon-winged clan's emperor wasn't a fool. To be able to differentiate between his original body and his clone, he had to use his original body to do these things. After killing the demon-winged clan's people, he had to make the demon-winged clan's people befriend him and make use of him, the emperor, to do things. Night Sorrow, there are some things that can only be understood and not explained. How can you just dig it out? The Great Demon King is too unkind. Lin Piaomiao blushed at the Great Demon King's words. It is unkind, but isn't it the truth? Pu Luo, who had been sitting at the side drinking tea, said. Scram. An apple on the fruit plate beside Lin Piaomiao flew out. However, Pu Luo was already prepared. In a flash, he ran out of the hall and hummed a tune. Let's go to Twilight Manor to drink tea. I love tea. I'm not paying the bill. Night Sorrow was speechless. The cheerful Pu Luo in the past had learned how to anger people. He went to Twilight Tea House to drink tea and hung up the bill. Was he short of a few tens of thousands of Saint Spirit stones? That was nonsense. He wouldn't even be short of a few million. He just wanted to enjoy the feeling of not paying the bill after drinking tea and then leaving. You've all learned bad things. Lin Piaomiao was so angry that she laughed. However, she knew that this was how friends communicated. If they looked down on you and didn't want to hang out with you, people like Pu Luo and the Great Demon King wouldn't say anything unnecessary to you. That's good. They're all true to themselves. Now let's see how good the Great Demon King is. I don't doubt his ability to kill people. If his acting skills are good enough, then it'll be a success. This is a huge trap. All the members of the Demon Wing clan who came through the space-time tunnel will be wiped out, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, don't be fooled by some people's appearances. No matter if it's Pu Luo, the Great Demon King, Ruisi, or Yuzhu, any one of them is a lord of the human race. Their abilities are definitely outstanding. It's just that they don't like to show that side of them. If they want to do something, it's impossible. This is a huge trap for the Demon Wing clan, Lin Piaomiao reminded Night Sorrow. Chapter 1815. Then it's up to you, Night Sorrow said. At this moment, a black-robed old man appeared in the sky in front of the Tianjiang City Lord Manor. Little Trash dares to call himself an area lord? Get out here. With this shout, the black-robed old man's energy exploded, causing the City Lord Manor to collapse. Yuan Ji, who had been pondering in the City Lord Manor, was dumbfounded. He hurriedly ran out of the manor because he couldn't see the black-robed old man's cultivation. The black-robed old man was naturally none other than the Great Demon King who had changed his clothes and appearance. May I ask who you are? Yuan Ji hurriedly bowed when he saw the Great Demon King. You don't have the right to know. So this is the real area lord. The Great Demon King's body flashed and flew toward the courtyard where Mo Taisher was hiding. After arriving, he suppressed him with his domain and attacked with his sword. Mo Taisher was an expert among the imperial emperors, but the Great Demon King was an expert among the imperial emperors who had passed 6 tribulations of the heavenly Tao. The two couldn't be compared at all. After killing Mo Taisher, the Great Demon King returned to the City Lord Manor. I don't want to be an area lord. I'm not in the mood to manage things. But can that trash be an area lord? Did he give me a heads up? Even if you were the area lord, I wouldn't be so angry. My lord, please sit inside. We can talk in detail. Yuan Ji's face was full of fear. The Great Demon King was too strong. He killed Mo Taisher with just a few strikes. At least you know what's good for you. I want to kill him whenever I see him. The Great Demon King snorted coldly. Yuan Ji led him into the undamaged City Lord Manor's backyard. Then, as Yuan Ji probed further, the Great Demon King explained his situation while cursing. He fabricated his background as a cultivator who had been cultivating in seclusion in the great wilderness of the Tianjiang domain for close to 10 billion years, and had only recently decided to come out for a walk. Senior, you can stay in the City Lord Manor. If I become the area lord, you will be the supreme of the Tianjiang region. Yuan Ji said directly. He naturally wanted to rope in a cultivator with tyrannical combat strength. Prepare a mansion for me and pick some good-looking women. Forget about those below the 8th step, but those above the 8th step who are good-looking and talented in cultivation are also good. Pick a few of them and keep them if I have a descendant. The Great Demon King made some requests in order to be more persuasive. Then this junior will arrange it immediately. Yuan Ji wasn't afraid that the Great Demon King would have a request, but he was afraid that he wouldn't have one. The Great Demon King stayed in a luxurious residence arranged by Yuan Ji. Yuan Ji was very excited. The death of a demon wing race's monarch didn't have much to do with him. However, with such a great expert by his side, it was different. He had the confidence to cooperate with the demon wing race. Mo Taisher's doppelganger had perished, and his main body had reported the situation to Ma Tian Tuesday. Damn it, how did such an expert suddenly appear in the heavenly general domain? I don't know if Yuan Ji can resolve this crisis. Mo Tiantu's mind was filled with anger. He had brought a limited number of people with him, and losing one was one less. Taisher, you recover first. I'll use an energy doppelganger to investigate. Mo Tiantu didn't dare to send people rashly. If the Great Demon King went crazy and killed them, the loss would be even greater. He couldn't afford to lose so many people without doing anything serious. Everything went smoothly. The great demon king told Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, and Pu Luo about this. You're too shameless. 8-step beauties and pretty ones too. Can't you have some backbone? Before Lin Piaomiao could say anything, Pu Luo spoke up. Isn't this the best way to show your humanity? That way we can avoid suspicion. Besides, I've set up an illusion array so no one will know what's going on. It's very easy for this demon king to leave something in the memories of an 8th-rank sovereign king. The great demon king said. We don't know if you've really done anything. Lin Piaomiao glanced at the great demon king. You can't doubt my character. I have a queen and a concubine in my own realm. I won't eat just anyone. The great demon king was dissatisfied after hearing Lin Piaomiao's words. That's because you're not thirsty. If you're thirsty, don't talk about food. You'll eat the leftovers like a bun. Pu Luo took a sip of tea and said. Night Sorrow was about to drink some tea when he heard Pu Luo's words. His hand trembled and the tea almost spilled on his face. Talent? He realized that the few elders of the human Tao sect were all talents. All right, I'll eat it. What can you do? Just wait for my news, said the great demon king. Yuan Ji was still a little afraid. The great demon king's appearance was a bomb that could explode at any time in his cooperation with Mo Tiantu. He was afraid that the great demon king would be disgusted and lose his life. He planned to test the great demon king's attitude. Yuan Ji came to the great demon king's residence. The great demon king was leaning on a recliner and eating precious fruits. A maid was massaging his shoulders behind him. Why is it so difficult for you to get a few level 8 women? Do you want me to find them myself? Seeing Yuan Ji, the great demon king roared in dissatisfaction. Senior, Yuan Ji will make the arrangements in a while. However, there are some things that I would like to seek your opinion on. Yuan Ji bowed and said. That bastard was killed by me. Aren't you the ruler of the realm? What can't you decide? The great demon king said impatiently. It's like this. A few days ago, some people wanted to cooperate with me. They intend to use our Tianjiang realm as a stronghold to fight with the forces of the celestial realm. Yuan Ji handed a fruit to the great demon king. A man's hands are dirty. Don't touch my fruit. Using the Tianjiang realm as a stronghold? Fine. What are the benefits? Are there any benefits? The great demon king pointed at the fruit to the maid beside him. He looked like a master. There are some benefits. I will send them to you in a while. However, they seem to have a shady background. Yuan Ji tried to test the great demon king's attitude. Do you have a pig's brain? You are the ruler of the Tianjiang realm. You only care about getting resources from the Tianjiang realm. Who cares about their background? What does it have to do with us? So what if they are from the demon-winged race? As long as there are suitable benefits, there are no eternal enemies. Can you still be the ruler of the realm? If you can't, we will replace you. The great demon king glared at Yuan Ji with dissatisfaction. Yuan Ji understands. Before sunset, the king-level beauty will be sent to you. Yuan Ji felt relieved and left the mansion. Ah. The great demon king's clone in Night Moon Villa laughed. That pig. You even want to test this demon king. This demon king made him burst with joy. Then the great demon king sat on the recliner and played the roles of two people. He imitated Yuan Ji's voice perfectly. That works? Isn't he just waiting for the demon-winged race to take the bait? Night Sorrow was surprised. He didn't expect the great demon king to be so good at deceiving people. Yuan Ji was sold and he was still so happy. Chapter 1816. Can you be more shameless? Tell Yuan Ji that since you can cultivate to the emperor level, your family's bloodline and talent should be pretty good. Don't you have any sisters or daughters? Send me too. Pu Luo imitated the great demon king's voice. Sure. That's a good idea. Pu Luo, you have a bright future. The great demon king gave Pu Luo a thumbs up. Don't go overboard. It's not good now, Lin Piaomiao said. She was worried that the great demon king would go overboard. That character is an arrogant and despotic master. Yuan Ji can't wait to suck up to him. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to have fun. The great demon king closed his eyes and rocked his chair. His mind was on his main body. That B*TSH is invincible. Pu Luo shook his head. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao looked at each other and laughed. The great demon king had made such a despicable character. He was indeed invincible. Elder Lin, you have to keep an eye on Night Sorrow. Don't let him be as despicable as the great demon king. If he's so despicable, he's really uncontrollable. Pu Luo said. Night Sorrow won't. If a woman looks at him twice, he'll blush. Besides, he doesn't eat everything. Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Hurry up and F***ck him. Yes, he doesn't eat everything. Pu Luo laughed and left. Night Sorrow, what do you want to eat? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. What food? Sister Xin, or you've been led astray by them. Other than the food at home, I don't eat anything else. Night Sorrow said helplessly. Hee. I'm just joking. Don't take it seriously. How can your husband not understand? Lin Xin said with a smile. Seeing Night Sorrow's conflicted expression and not knowing where to start, Lin Xin sat beside Night Sorrow and said. Then I want to eat food today. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Xin and said. Lin Piaomiao blushed. The great demon king started to stir up trouble in the Sky General region. He really did what Pu Luo wanted, and was not satisfied with the women sent by Yuan Ji. He wanted high-level cultivation women from the Yuan family. Yuan Ji agreed without hesitation, and sent the 2 unmarried Yuan family women to the great demon king's mansion. However, the great demon king didn't take advantage of this. He only used his soul to influence the 2 women, making them believe that something had really happened. Even if Yuan Ji asked, he wouldn't be able to get anything out of them. When they no longer needed it, the great demon king would remove his influence on their souls, and they would understand the truth. The great demon king wasn't willing to take advantage of her. Not only did he fail to take advantage of her, but he also ended up being called a heartless man. Yuan Ji and Ma Tiantu talked about the situation of the great demon king. Although Mo Xianta was very angry about the death of Mo Tiesher's doppelganger, he knew that the current situation was not dire. With the great demon king overseeing the Tianjiang region, they were relatively safe. However, there were still some problems that needed to be solved by Mo Xiantu. The great demon king wanted resources and Yuan Ji didn't recognize them. Naturally, Mo Xianta would have to provide them. Without any other choice, Mo Xianta's incarnation came to negotiate with Yuan Ji, and agreed to provide the resources. However, Mo Xianta hoped that the great demon king could help him out when the time came. When Yuan Ji passed on the message, he was directly chased away by the great demon king, who told him to talk with him. At this time, Mo Xianta had no choice but to talk, because the great demon king was now a double-edged sword. He would either help them or suppress them. This time, Mo Xianta came personally from the small world to Sky General City, and arrived at the great demon king's mansion. First he took out the gift and then spoke of his thoughts. It's not that I can't help you this time, but it depends on the situation. You want me to kill an emperor and this is the gift? Scram as far as you can. The great demon king looked at the gift and said. There's definitely no emperor. We just want to capture a city. Senior, please help us to deal with some unexpected situations. They have a teleportation array. Senior, please occupy the teleportation array as soon as possible. We can solve some problems on our own, Mo Xianta said. If that's the case, that's fine. But remember, don't mess with me. Otherwise, you can imagine the consequences. Also, if you have anything else to do, hurry up and arrange it. I'm going to take these beauties out to play. I don't have time to waste with you. The great demon king waved his sleeves and chased Yuan Ji and Mo Xianta away. Yuan Ji and Mo Xianta returned to the city lord mansion. How's your infiltration going? Mo Xianta looked at Yuan Ji and asked. We've entered Xingyue City, but it's impossible to secretly teleport to Night Sorrow's world. There's an emperor guarding it. We have to fight and occupy it instantly. After we enter the 9-domain world, my doppelganger will dismantle the teleportation array in Star Moon City. This way, even if they want to go back to help, they won't be able to. My doppelganger will take the main body of the Emperor-grade teleportation array and the 9-domain world's teleportation array crystal and hide them. In the future we will decide where to set them up. That realm will be completely under our control, Yuan Ji said. That's right, but you can't do it alone. With your strength, any emperor can snatch the teleportation array crystal and the crystal back. I'll send someone to follow you, Mo Xianta said. The emperor-level teleportation array was too important. Naturally, Mo Xianta couldn't let Yuan Ji control it alone. You don't trust me? Yuan Ji was an old fox. He naturally knew what Mo Xianta meant. Whether or not we can return from the realm depends on this emperor-level teleportation array. Our fates can't be in your hands, right? Mo Xianta said bluntly. Yuan Ji looked at Mo Xianta for a while, then smiled. He knew that there was no room for negotiation. If it were him, he wouldn't put his fate in someone else's hands. Besides, Yuan Ji also had some concerns. Right now, Demon Wing Clan was not his only target. If they didn't cooperate well with him, they could go to the Great Demon King. It would definitely work. With beauties and resources, the great demon king wouldn't refuse. At that time, not only would the two direct descendants of his Yuan clan be given away for free, he wouldn't get anything. Since we have the help of this great expert, we can attack directly. Let this great expert take control of the teleportation array and cut off the connection between Misty Imperial City and Xingyue City. Then we'll have enough time to take control of Xingyue City. Moshianta was afraid that things would change if they delayed. He didn't want to follow Yuanji's route of infiltration. That's fine. Are your people ready? I can arrange a team, but there will only be one emperor, Yuanji said. Chapter 1817. Yu Yong. Geo 6 free * read novels. The Great Demon King's clone told Night Sorrow and the others that they could set up an ambush in Starmoon City. They could also start preparing for a full-scale attack on the Celestial Domain. He felt that Yuanji and the others were about to make their move. Lin Piaomiao mobilized Luo Yuandao's Shadow Army and followed Night Sorrow's secret teleportation formation to the Celestial Domain. After ambushing Yuanji, Ma Tiantu, and the others, the Misty Dynasty would also complete their control of the Celestial Domain. In addition, Night Sorrow, Lin Piaomiao, and the Great Demon King's clone arrived at Starmoon Lake. Hu Luo took the secret teleportation formation to Celestial Domain. He was going to monitor the teleportation formation. If one or two Demon Wing clan members were missing, he would use the teleportation formation to determine where they came from and which small world Ma Tiantu and the others were hiding in. Once the battle started, the Demon Wing clan's emperor would inevitably be killed. At that time, the seal on them that prevented divination would disappear. They could then use divination to determine where the Demon Wing clan was hiding. However, divination was not omnipotent. If you were given the surrounding environment and location, how could you check if you did not know which world it was? If you knew which world it was and the location, there would be no problem. Everything was ready. Night Sorrow and the others were waiting for Yuanji, Ma Tiantu, and the others to take the bait. In order to avoid being discovered by the spies in the Celestial Domain that had infiltrated Starmoon City, Night Sorrow and the others went to Dachura first. They sent away the people around the teleportation formation and then teleported over and stayed in the illusion formation. Starmoon City's defense formation was very advanced. There were both illusion formations and killing formations. Ma Tiantu's main body reported everything that happened in the Celestial Realm to Mo Tianji. He was actually a mouthpiece. Everything was under Mo Tianji's command. It's a good thing to meet an insatiable expert. After this is successful, that Imperial-grade teleportation formation will be in your hands. Only then will you be absolutely safe, Mo Tianji said. Ma Tiantu understands. Ma Tiantu bowed. Right now we don't have the ability to bring you back. After this operation is over, if you hide well, we will win. Mo Tianji was also quite excited. With her main body back, she would be able to recover to her peak state after a period of recovery. Once her soul reincarnated clone awakened its memories and needed to break through, she would be able to fuse with it and break through her shackles. The only variable is that greedy guy. If he doesn't betray us, then this matter will be settled, Mo Lu said. Hurry up and take action, lest any undue delay brings trouble. After this cooperation, hide as deep as you can. Also, pretend that Sha Mo doesn't exist in your team. He is fully responsible for nurturing that woman, Mo Tianji gave another order. While Yuanji and Ma Tiantu were preparing, the Ethereal Dynasty had already completed their preparations. If it was just eliminating a few monarchs, it wouldn't be difficult. In fact, it could even be said that a monarch could hire a few diviners to find the whereabouts of the monarchs. The reason why Night Sorrow and the others were so cautious was because they didn't want any fish to escape the net. If they didn't completely eliminate them, it would be difficult to catch them again. With the craftiness of the demonic wing race, even leaving one alive would cause endless trouble. Who knew which one he would bribe or which one he would instigate? For the human race, some unstable factors existed. A sturdy fortress wasn't afraid of external attacks, but it was afraid of internal disintegration. Ma Tiantu and Yuanji communicated again and prepared to take action. The two of them found the Great Demon King and told him that they were going to start the operation. Alright, let's finish this quickly and get back to business. The Great Demon King patted the chest of the Yuan clan girl that Yuanji had sent over. The Great Demon King followed Yuanji and Ma Tiantu to the teleportation array. After waiting for a while, demonic wing race people came out. However, including Ma Tiantu, there were only 9 of them. Night Sorrow and the Great Demon King had calculated that there should be 10 demonic wing race people. Ma Tian-tu left one behind because if something really happened, they wouldn't lose their fire seed. However, at this time, Pu Luo's voice came from the great demon king's spirit sea, telling him not to worry and to continue the operation. Once all of these demonic wing race people were killed, he would do a quick divination. The great demon king tidied his robe and communicated with Pu Luo through soul transmission. He would lead these people into the huge pit in Star Moon City and quickly finish the job. Afterwards, the diviner would use the corpses for divination. After that, he would accompany Pu Luo to catch the remaining evil. The great demon king's clone also informed Night Sorrow to prepare for battle and that they were missing one person. Get ready, diviner. Do the divination at any time. Lin Piaomiao said to the divination master of the Misty Dynasty. Night Sorrow, this time I will take back the colored glass Saint Bone that I owe you. Song Ning's face was full of killing intent. If asked who wanted to kill Yuan Ji the most, it would be Song Ning. Yuan Ji not only tricked her but also almost killed her and Wu Feng. What kind of enmity was this? This was a life and death grudge. That's not what you owe me, it's what Yuan Ji owes me. It has nothing to do with you. Night Sorrow said. These are all small matters. The teleportation has already begun. Everyone prepare for battle. This battle can solve some hidden problems. The Great Demon King said. Soon, under Yuan Ji's lead, the Great Demon King and the 9 monarchs of the Demon-Winged clan arrived at the periphery of Star Moon Lake. The remaining part of the journey is to fly across Star Moon Lake and attack Star Moon City. Yuan Ji said. I'm only in charge of killing. The rest is up to you. Your Yuan clan's women are quite tasty. Go back and send me 2 more of your Yuan clan's women. The Great Demon King said to Yuan Ji. He was too lazy to talk to Mo Xiantu and the others. After we return, this junior will send it to senior. In this battle, we must first control the teleportation formation and cut off their reinforcements. By the time their reinforcements arrive, everything will already be over. The corner of Yuan Ji's eyes twitched. It was true that the Yuan clan was a big clan. However, there were not many women in the clan who could cultivate to the king realm. If the Great Demon King wanted them all, he would have them all. Moreover, these women were of different generations. It was not reasonable for all of them to give themselves to a single person. However, Yuan Ji did not dare to refute. After explaining the battle plan once more, the Great Demon King and the others flew towards Star Moon City. The distance was not far. Moments later, they arrived above Star Moon City. Then the group rushed towards the center of the city. The instant they landed on the ground, some of the scenery changed. Some illusion arrays stopped operating while others started operating. Night Sorrow and the others also appeared from the illusion arrays, surrounding Yuan Ji, Mo Xiantu and the others. Trap. Senior, hurry up and kill. Take us out. Yuan Ji roared. Seeing Lin Piaomiao, Yuan Ji understood that this operation had failed. He knew that the Great Demon King was very strong. However, there were too many experts surrounding them. Night Sorrow, wasn't it beautiful this time? The Great Demon King walked towards Night Sorrow. You betrayed us? Yuan Ji finally understood. Chapter 1818. After saying something that shocked Mo Xiantu and Yuan Ji, the Great Demon King turned around and threw out a sword attack. It was very sudden. His target was not Mo Xiantu or Yuan Ji, but Sha Mo. Sha Mo was still shocked by the sudden change in the situation. Added with the fact that the Great Demon King had suddenly used his Emperor realm to suppress him, he did not manage to dodge the sword attack. In fact, he could not dodge it at all. The way you look at me can be filled with admiration or disdain. But forget about that look of disdain. Those who used to look at me with that look are all dead. After putting away his weapon, the Great Demon King lifted his chin at Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow gave the Great Demon King a thumbs up. Right now, the one who should be killed the most was Sha Mo. They could not let him be alerted. Otherwise, there might be some changes in the godly capital. Who the hell are you? Yuan Ji knew that he had lost. He had been tricked this time. I am the Great Demon King. I am friends with Night Sorrow and Master Lin, the so-called Misty Battle Emperor. Do you think I should teach you a lesson? Ah. The Great Demon King laughed. Blame me for being blind. You played with the women of my Yuan family and tricked my family. You will suffer retribution. Yuan Ji's face looked very ugly. You are blind. That is for sure. As for playing with the women of your Yuan family, forget it. This Demon King doesn't do everything and I don't fancy just any woman. I really didn't do anything to those women in your family. The Great Demon King said. He could take the blame for some things but he wasn't willing to take the blame for others. Stop lying to yourself. I have asked them and they said it themselves. Yuanji's face turned pale. You are stupid. I have bewitched their souls and instilled some subconscious in them. Do you understand? You are so stupid. I don't want to waste my time talking to you. Fentian, get to work. The great demon king attacked as soon as he finished speaking. A few emperors attacked together. In just a short moment, all the people brought by Yuanji and Moshianta were killed. Not a single one escaped. Fortune tellers, find out where their base is. Lin Piaomiao said to the fortune tellers. One of you, divine where this guy's clone is. Song Ning pointed at Yuanji's headless corpse. The clairvoyant began to get busy, and soon divined the location of the only member of the Demon Wing clan. Yuanji's clone had also been found in Tianjiang City. Keep an eye on the various teleportation arrays in the Tianjiang domain. We'll start capturing people, Night Sorrow said. Following which, the cleanup operation began. The arresting party brought along a group of diviners and began to perform divination on the corpses. Supra, our new chapter J, Yuanji's clone was captured and killed. However, the remaining Demon Wing race's monarch was very capable. Even so, it was only a matter of time before it was captured. The spatial world that Ma Tiantu and the others were temporarily residing in was very small. It was a barren world. The surface area wasn't big. If multiple emperors went in to capture it, this Devil Wing race's emperor wouldn't be able to escape. Night Sorrow arrived at the god capital and asked about Sha Mo's situation. Sha Mo was still by Jun Xuanji's side. Sha Mo also knew that he was in great danger. However, even if he was in danger, he couldn't retreat. He wanted to bet that Night Sorrow and the others hadn't discovered his existence. As long as he could help Jun Xuanji rise, his mission would be completed. Luo Yuandao's Dark Shadow Army had already taken over the entire Tianjiang domain, and the Yuan clan was a thing of the past. The great demon king removed the sole control he had on the Yuan clan's women. You will serve me tea for a few days and I won't make things difficult for you. However, I have a few words of advice for you. Walk your own path. The past has nothing to do with you and the future has nothing to do with you. If you still have hatred in your heart, then you will be doomed eternally. The great demon king looked at the Yuan clan's women and said, Thank you, my lord. Yuanji gave us away without considering our feelings. We are just cannon fodder for the Yuan clan. A Yuan clan's woman said, All right. Since all of you are able to cultivate to the sovereign king realm, you must have your own sense of right and wrong. If you really have any problems that you can't solve, you can go to the Night Moon Villa of the Ethereal Dynasty and mention it to the Great Demon King. The Great Demon King left after leaving some Saint Spirit stones to the ladies. The Great Demon King had a murderous nature and he was a bit despicable. However, he had a bottom line. He couldn't do things that hurt the innocent. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao looked at the teleportation array of the Demon Wing clan's monarch's small world. The others continued to search. They had to catch this Demon Wing clan's monarch and kill him. As for Sha Mo in the Shendu city, Yi Shang planned to ask King Yewu for his opinion later. Inside the Demon Emperor city, Ma Tiantu's face was ashen. He knelt down before Mo Tianji and said, My lord, the operation failed. Yuanji and our people were all killed. That expert was one of them. I don't know how he got into the Sky General region. Phil. Then what's the situation on Sha Mo's side? Mo Tianji's face was as cold as ice. She was so close to success but it flew away just like that. Sha Mo's doppelganger was killed, but I destroyed his body as soon as I could. I also destroyed everything in the area where his body was. I don't know if they can divine it, Ma Tiantu said. The chances of him surviving are not high. Mo Tianji said coldly. After hearing Ma Tiantu's report, she came to the conclusion that since the human race had sent out so many emperors, this matter would be very important. It would be easy to dig it out. I deserve to die. I'll kill myself to atone for my sins. Ma Tiantu waved his hand and slapped the top of his head. Looking at Ma Tiantu's body, Mo Tianji snorted coldly and left the palace. She was now faced with a choice. Should she continue to search for her original body, or should she merge with her current body? This was a difficult problem for Mo Tianji. If it wasn't her body, the compatibility wouldn't be perfect. After merging, there would be restrictions on her future development. Even if it was 90% compatible, it wouldn't be enough. However, if she didn't merge, she would face the problem of not having much combat power. If she wanted to merge again in the future, it would take a lot of time because she didn't know when there would be a big battle. Most importantly, Mo Qianji was worried that the human race's big shots would discover her relationship with Jun Xuanji and use him to attack her original body's soul. A soul without a body was like a rootless duckweed. If that really happened, she would suffer a great blow. After thinking for a while, Mo Qianji decided to merge with her original body. She would think about the future in the future. After half a month, Pu Luo found and killed the demon-winged race's emperor that was left in the small world. Knight Sorrow went to Yawa Mountain to see Marshal Qingya and reported what had happened. Chapter 1819. Yes, he's the only one left. Knight Sorrow nodded. Mo is being watched by the guardian elders of the divine capital. He can't run away. Marshal Uncle, think about how to deal with him. You have to consider everything, King Wu said. Thank you, Marshal Uncle. Knight Sorrow said with a bow. She's your friend. Otherwise, I wouldn't have left Mo Qianji half dead and never let her recover. King Wu's face was filled with killing intent. The hatred between the Demon Wing clan and the human race was too great. However, he didn't want to make things difficult for Knight Sorrow. Then, can we deal with Mo Qianji without hurting Jun Xuanji? Knight Sorrow asked. With Mo Qianji's cunning, she's probably on guard now. Besides, Jun Xuanji is a human now. We humans have a bottom line. So what if Mo Qianji recovers? She dares to fight. We humans will fight to the end. King Wu's body exploded with towering heaven spear intent. I understand. Yishang finally understood. Even if Jun Xuanji was the reincarnation of Mo Qianji, there were some things that King Wu was unwilling to do because she was a human. Yishang's true body was still in seclusion, and his doppelganger had already left Wu Mountain. He knew that this was how King Wu had handled this matter. If it had been the human clan council of elders in Tianhuang City, they would have killed 1,000 innocents rather than let a single one go. Yishang's exile was an example. After returning to the Night Moon Villa, Knight Sorrow felt a little touched. If Jun Xuanji really regained his memories one day, what would the situation be like? With some thoughts, Knight Sorrow arrived at the Humanitarian League headquarters. Lord, what's wrong? Are you not in the mood? Jun Xuanji asked Knight Sorrow to sit down. I don't know what's going on, but I have some thoughts and want to find someone I know to talk to. I'm not an area lord here. I'm just your friend, Knight Sorrow, Knight Sorrow said after sitting down. You can all leave. Jun Xuanji waved at Liu Shiamo and the others, then brought Knight Sorrow to a loft behind the Humanitarian League. Knight Sorrow, what's wrong with you? You're young and promising, you should be high-spirited, you should point your sword at the world. Jun Xuanji took out a jar of wine and placed it in front of Knight Sorrow. She noticed that something was wrong with Knight Sorrow's mood. I just feel a little emotional. Xuanji, how many years have we known each other? Knight Sorrow opened the wine jug and poured wine for himself and Jun Xuanji. 170 years. 170 years may be a short moment in the long lifespan of a cultivator, but it's a lifetime for me, Jun Xuanji said. A single life is the same for me. I don't make friends easily. When I make friends, I treat them with sincerity, Knight Sorrow said after taking a sip of wine. Thank you for treating me as a friend. Jun Xuanji raised his glass to Knight Sorrow. Translator, Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios, as long as you're Jun Xuanji, will be friends for life. Knight Sorrow finished the wine in his glass in one gulp. As long as Knight Sorrow is here, I'll always be Knight Sorrow's friend, Jun Xuanji. Even if the heavens fall and the earth rends, it won't change. Jun Xuanji poured a full glass of wine for Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow didn't say anything. He felt a little bitter in his heart, but he couldn't say it. Jun Xuanji could be said to be one of his most important friends. The most important thing between friends is understanding and trust. You, Knight Sorrow, have done it. Jun Xuanji drank the wine in his glass and poured himself another one. Knight Sorrow and Jun Xuanji drank a few jugs of wine, but neither of them got drunk. Knight Sorrow, you might be confused, but all I can tell you is that we'll be friends forever, Jun Xuanji said. Knight Sorrow stood up and walked outside. After taking a few steps, Knight Sorrow looked back at Jun Xuanji. I hope you'll always be Jun Xuanji. Friends rely on each other. In the future, if you're confused, remember your friend, Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow left. Jun Xuanji was a little puzzled, but he was also happy because Knight Sorrow was willing to be his friend for life. After returning to Night Moon Villa, Knight Sorrow took a bath and began practicing his spear. After chatting with Jun Xuanji, Knight Sorrow felt a little better. At this time, King Wu appeared beside the training ground where Knight Sorrow was practicing his spear. Because he was focused, he practiced for 2 hours. When Knight Sorrow put away his spear, he saw King Yowu. "Martial uncle, when did you come? Why didn't you call me?" Knight Sorrow wiped the sweat from his forehead. King Yowu told Knight Sorrow that he had arrived at the Humanitarian League when he was drinking and chatting with Jun Xuanji. He just didn't show up. "Martial uncle, I'm sorry. I can't let a friend fall into the abyss and not help him," Knight Sorrow said guiltily. "Martial uncle understands. That's why you're the merit monarch and others aren't." King Yowu nodded at Knight Sorrow. King Yowu had come down to Yawa Mountain to check on Jun Xuanji's situation. When he arrived, Knight Sorrow and Jun Xuanji were talking. "You're only going to see her because you're sad. But what you don't know is that what you just said will remain in the depths of her soul. Even if she wakes up one day, it will be an indelible memory. Martial uncle's idea is to strengthen her soul so that her soul will be eternally stable and have her own thoughts. She can exist independently and won't be fused with Mo Tianji. Your approach is very much in line with Martial uncle's idea," King Yowu said. "I see. Then I'll go talk to her every day," Knight Sorrow said. King Yowu shook his head. "That won't have much effect. How about this? Bring her over and let Martial uncle talk to her." Knight Sorrow returned to the Humanitarian League again and called Jun Xuanji to the Night Moon Villa for a family banquet. Liuyu and Sha Mo wanted to follow but were stopped by Jun Xuanji. "Knight Sorrow, it seems that something about me has troubled you. But after thinking about it, I don't think there's anything wrong with it," Jun Xuanji asked, puzzled. "You'll understand in a while. Remember, we're friends," Knight Sorrow said as he put his arm around Jun Xuanji's shoulder. "You're putting your arm around my shoulder? Aren't you afraid that Battle Emperor, Luo and the others will be jealous?" Jun Xuanji said with a smile. "No, not at all. They won't mind because you're Jun Xuanji," Knight Sorrow shook his head. "Since you're not afraid, I'm not afraid either. I notice that you're in a much better mood." Jun Xuanji turned to look at Knight Sorrow. Knight Sorrow didn't say anything. The two entered the Night Moon Villa with their arms around each other's shoulders. Then they went to the waterside pavilion at the back. At this moment, King Yowu and Lin Piaomiao were drinking tea and chatting. "Xuanji, let me introduce you. You know Piaomiao. This is my martial uncle, King Yowu," Knight Sorrow said to Jun Xuanji. King Yowu, a giant of the human race, the city lord of the divine capital. Jun Xuanji's eyes were filled with shock. He thought that she didn't expect to meet such a big figure. Chapter 1820. Senior King Yowu, what do you want me to do? "I dare not disobey," Jun Xuanji said with a bow. "I'm not here today as a human overlord, but as Knight Sorrow's martial uncle." King Yowu pointed at the chair opposite him and sat down. Translator. Endless Fantasy Translation Editor. Endless Fantasy Translation Senior, please speak. Although Jun Xuanji didn't know what was going on, he knew that King Yowu, a top human overlord, had come to see him for something big. "I won't beat around the bush. Sha Mo, who is beside you, is the Demon Wing Clan's emperor. He came to you to help you rise because you are a subordinate of a Demon Wing Clan's overlord," King Yowu said straightforwardly. Jun Xuanji couldn't help but stand up. His expression changed. "How could this be? You're not going to kill me, are you?" "Sit down first." King Yowu shook his head. "Xuanji, martial uncle is here to solve the problem." Knight Sorrow helped Jun Xuanji sit down. "You are Knight Sorrow's friend. Knight Sorrow doesn't want you to be hurt and has been working hard. As his martial uncle, I naturally have to help him. Even if I can solve the problem, there are some things I don't want to do. Now let's talk about your future. First, you will awaken your memories and know that you are someone's subordinate reincarnation. Then, you will merge with the original body and disappear from this world. Second, you will be killed by other human overlords before you can merge with the original body. Third, you will always be yourself," King Yowu said. "My lord, I don't want to be killed. I still have dreams. I don't want to be someone's subordinate. I just want to be Jun Xuanji," Jun Xuanji said in a low voice. "Since you have made such a decision, I will naturally support you. Apart from the few of us here, the news won't spread. The human clan's council of elders won't make trouble for you," King Yowu said. "Will my soul be invaded in the future?" Jun Xuanji now understood why Yishang was so worried. If it's a powerful being from the Demon Wing clan, she must have a lot of tricks up her sleeves. There will be many methods, but it's not like I don't have a way. Take this egoism secret art and cultivate it. It will isolate some of the effects on your soul. In the future, it will be very difficult for anyone to affect your soul. You have to be firm in yourself. Remember, you are Jun Xuanji. King Yowu took out an ancient book and handed it to Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji, thanks my lord. If I can strengthen myself, I will come again to thank my lord. Jun Xuanji stood up and bowed deeply to King Yowu. This concerns the human race. I will not sit by and do nothing. Don't resist. I will help you place a seal in your spirit sea. As for the damage, if you are some almighty who wants to fuse with his spirit, then I am sorry. I will not allow the Demon Wing clan to stir up trouble. If you are Jun Xuanji, then there is no problem at all, King Yowu said. Sir, please cast the spell. Jun Xuanji said without any hesitation after sitting down. King Yowu stretched out his hands. As his fingers danced, a spinning energy formation disc appeared in the air. The formation disc was filled with rhythmic runes. Night Sorrow, use the Human Emperor's seal to imbue it with the Human Emperor's power, King Yowu shouted to Night Sorrow. Yishang took out the Human Emperor's seal and used the power of virtue to activate it. He sent a beam of energy towards the disc array. Only by using the power of virtue to activate the Human Emperor's seal could the energy emitted be called the power of the Human Emperor. The energy emitted by the Human Emperor's seal contained golden runes. It was the sacred scripture of the Human Tao, the Book of Taoism. King Yowu completed the formation disc and pressed down with his right hand, pressing the disc into Jun Xuanji's spirit sea. Thank you, my lord. Night Sorrow, I have made you worry about me, Jun Xuanji said to Night Sorrow after bowing to King Yowu. I didn't want anything to happen to you, so I was worried. Now I am relieved, Night Sorrow said. I knew something was wrong when I saw that you were absent-minded. But I couldn't guess what it was. Sir Battle Emperor, have you dealt with the Demon Wing Sovereign Emperor? I don't want things to mess with my mind. Night Sorrow, I plan to return to the Nine-Domain world. She wants to succeed, but I won't accept my fate. I can stay in the Nine-Domain world forever. She can't go anyway, Jun Xuanji said to Night Sorrow. There is no need to escape. What will come sooner or later. Cultivators are not afraid of any challenges. King Yowu didn't support Jun Xuanji's idea of returning to the Nine-Domain world. Then I'll face it bravely. If one day I can't take it anymore or if I change Yishang, I hope that you'll end me and send me home, Jun Xuanji said as he looked at Yishang. Everything will pass. Night Sorrow turned and hugged Jun Xuanji. Night Sorrow then asked Lin Piaomiao to send Jun Xuanji back and deal with Sha Mo. After Jun Xuanji and Lin Piaomiao left, Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for King Yowu. Thank you for your hard work, Martial Uncle. Not at all. This is the first time Martial Uncle fought with Mo Tianji. She lost completely because she has no chance of fusing with Mo Tianji. Martial Uncle tricked her, King Yowu said with a smile. No chance of fusing with Mo Tianji? Night Sorrow was stunned. Yes, Mo Tianji has no chance of absorbing Jun Xuanji's soul. Jun Xuanji's future will either belong to him or be annihilated, King Yowu said. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that this was already a merciful method. If it was some other radical human race sect elder, they might have destroyed Jun Xuanji. Tell Lin Piaomiao about this. Let's stop here. We will talk about the future in the future, King Yowu reminded Night Sorrow. I understand, Martial Uncle. Why didn't you teach me the solipsistic secret technique? Night Sorrow asked. You want to learn everything? Is your Tao heart unstable? You have cultivated the high heaven spear art and the spear intent in your heart is soaring to the sky. Who can shake your will? King Yowu said with a smile. So that's the case. Then I will work hard to cultivate the high heaven spear art, Night Sorrow said embarrassedly. Cultivation techniques are created. Whoever creates them will naturally be most suitable for that person. Taking other people's cultivation techniques is just a reference. Do you understand what Martial Uncle means? King Yowu looked at Yishang and asked. I understand, Night Sorrow nodded. Whether it is the high heaven spear art or the immemorial spear art, they only have artistic conception. In other words, they can only open a window for you. As for what kind of door it opens, it is up to you. Actually, Martial Uncle is looking forward to it. King Yowu stood up and left in 2 flashes. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow felt that there was no need to see Jun Xuanji now. He should give Jun Xuanji a chance to calm down. While Night Sorrow was thinking, Lin Piaomiao returned. How was it? Night Sorrow asked Lin Piaomiao. Chapter 1821. Then I'm relieved. We don't have to worry about this at this stage, Night Sorrow said. With Martial Uncle's help, Mo Tianji shouldn't be able to do anything. Lin Piaomiao nodded. King Yowu's name had been passed down for a few eras. Lin Piaomiao knew him very well. Carrot B knew you knew J fastest G up R, this storm is over. I've been nervous for a while, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. How should we deal with the Sky General bounded area? How should we split the benefits? Lin Piaomiao sat opposite Night Sorrow. She cleaned the teapot and started making tea. Sister Xin Er, I think it's better to take out the Sky General bounded area, Night Sorrow said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao nodded and signaled for Night Sorrow to continue. Night Sorrow meant that the elders of the Humanitarian League had all contributed. They wanted to take out the Sky General bounded area as a base for the Humanitarian League. Sure. We're husband and wife. You can make the decision for us. I'm not interested in fighting for territory. If I was, I would have wiped out the surrounding forces long ago, Lin Piaomiao said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that Lin Piaomiao didn't care about this. She hadn't asked about the ethereal kingdom for many years. Developing forces and fighting for territory were usually done by middle-level cultivators. It was to gather resources for the rise. Lin Piaomiao, Great Demon King, and Pu Luo didn't care about this. Of course, Night Sorrow didn't care either. He didn't lack resources either. No emperor dared to say that they had more resources than Night Sorrow. After making the decision, the two of them went to Night Moon Villa's hall. They called Pu Luo and Great Demon King, who had rushed back from the Ethereal Kingdom's region. Alliance Master doesn't speak easily. You gathered everyone here. Is something the matter? Yu Zhu said as she trimmed her nails. Yes. The Sky General bounded area has been taken down. Now it's time to rule and manage it. You have to send someone out, Night Sorrow said. Who are we sending? Reese asked, confused. In the future, the domain will become a base for the Humanitarian League. Naturally, it will need to be managed. If you don't send people, how are you going to manage it? Night Sorrow asked. Night Sorrow, the Ethereal Dynasty is stabilizing the situation there. Let's give it to the Ethereal Dynasty. The Heavenly General region is also within the Ethereal Dynasty. Besides, everyone is just killing each other. They didn't do much, so no one will mind. The Great Demon King, who had been resting with his eyes closed on the recliner, opened his eyes. That's a different matter. With the bounded domain as a shield, no matter what kind of war happens, there's a guarantee. Send some people to report to the Humanitarian League headquarters, Night Sorrow said. Since Night Sorrow had said so, the others did not object. A realm that could not be forcibly entered without a teleportation array was extremely safe. It was extremely difficult to set up a teleportation array between the Celestial Realm and the bounded domain. Just like the Celestial Realm and the Chaotic Realm. If Night Sorrow had not passed through the extremely difficult-to-find passage, he would not have been able to enter the Celestial Realm. Even though there were many experts in the Celestial Realm, the origin of the realm had a self-protective consciousness. You could destroy it, but it was impossible to pass through the spatial barrier. Aside from special reasons such as the passage, the teleportation array was set up by cultivators under King by chance. Yuan Ji, for example, ran to the Heavenly General region to control the teleportation array. It was extremely difficult for Cang Ning to kill him. The Heavenly Saint Emperor entered the small world. Even the Great Demon King could not kill him. Now that we have a firm foothold in the fairies' capital, some things should be settled. Night Sorrow, when do you plan to deal with the White Emperor city in the Haitian dynasty? Pu Luo asked. Pu Luo, shouldn't we stop for a while? Otherwise people will think that we are too good at jumping around and can't do anything big, the Great Demon King said. Yes, I also suggest that we stabilize and develop. Our Humanitarian League's territory and influence are big enough. Lin Piaomiao also expressed her opinion. Other than the current situation, she felt that Night Sorrow also needed to calm down. 2 years later, Night Sorrow would participate in the vanguard battle of the 100 Races Alliance. He needed to improve his strength. I have a feeling that the situation is not very stable. The Black Dragon's elder went to the Tianhuang city and the Demon Wing clan used some means to send their clansmen here. This indicates that something big is going to happen, the Great Demon King said. That's true. You, Elder Lin and Fentian have just passed the Emperor Tribulation. There is a lot of room for improvement. Strength determines ability. If you can improve, do it. If we have the strength to fight side by side, we will be invincible, Pu Luo said while rubbing his hands. His pair of iron fists had once made great contributions to the human race. After chatting for a while, Pu Luo stood up and walked out of the mansion's hall. Is there anyone going to the Ethereal Imperial City for tea? I like to drink tea and not pay the bill. Reese and Yu Zhu followed with laughter. It was convenient to have the Emperor-level teleportation portal. They had to go to the Twilight Tea House again. However, Night Sorrow had already told Chin Chin about their situation. That's too despicable. One person is despicable and now there are two more of them. Lin Piaomiao shook her head helplessly. The three of them have been through life and death together. So, if Pu Luo calls they will definitely follow, the Great Demon King said. If I didn't already know, I wouldn't believe it if others told me that Pu Luo is the elder of the human clan's council of elders. Night Sorrow shook his head with a smile because in his eyes, Pu Luo was a wanton, carefree and sunny man. You can't tell, right? In terms of popularity, no one is better than Pu Luo in the human clan's council of elders. Let me put it this way. If Pu Luo is in trouble and asks for help, many people will be willing to help. This is something that the other elders can't compare to, the Great Demon King said. What about you? Night Sorrow looked at the Great Demon King and asked. Do I need to ask for help? I have a brother but he never shows himself in front of people. The Great Demon King smiled confidently because he could solve the problem by himself. I have brothers too. I don't know how they are now and whether they will still recognize me as their brother in the future. At the mention of brothers, Night Sorrow thought of Tianyu and Long Jin. They were all brothers who had gone through life and death together. Night Sorrow, brotherhood is not divided by race. The Golden Dragon clan and the Cyan Rock clan are on the same side as the human clan. When they return to their families they will awaken the memories of their race, but some things are already buried deep in their souls. Brothers are for life. The Great Demon King threw a jar of wine to Night Sorrow. Chapter 1822. Is Bloodline Awakening very powerful? Night Sorrow asked. Sect Elder Lin, if you have the time, why don't you give your man more knowledge? Asking such an idiotic question will be a joke to others. You're embarrassing the Human Dao Alliance. I, the Great Demon King, am ashamed to be associated with you. The Great Demon King didn't try to hide his disdain at all. Night Sorrow, let me tell you. Bloodline is very important. Being outstanding or mediocre is determined by your bloodline. Lin Piaomiao smiled. She also realized that Night Sorrow was indeed very ignorant in some aspects. With Lin Piaomiao's explanation, Night Sorrow understood more. The body and soul were the most important components of life. Not to mention the soul, bloodline inheritance was related to the body. In the Golden Dragon clan, there were no members below the Emperor realm. Once their bloodline awakened, they could reach the Emperor realm. The deeper their foundation, the more terrifying their bloodline awakened. It was the same for the Green Rock clan. They were a clan with outstanding talent. Because their bloodline was too high, there were very few divine beasts with pure bloodlines. Therefore they couldn't dominate the world. However, they were very famous. No cultivator dared to provoke them. It was very easy for an emperor to fight against an emperor. Fighting against someone of a higher realm. Isn't the Divine Beast clan too monstrous? Night Sorrow was a little shocked. A Golden Dragon clan emperor just stood there. Ordinary mediocre emperors couldn't even break through his defense. How could they win? Not to mention attack and defense. A member of the Green Rock clan can't even touch his shadow when he uses his speed. How can you fight him? The Great Demon King looked at Night Sorrow with disdain again. Can you stop looking down on me? Based on what you said, if the Emperor of the Divine Beast clan appeared, wouldn't he also beat you up? Night Sorrow was very unhappy with the Great Demon King's look. You're thinking too much. How do you know that I don't have talent? This Demon King will forgive your ignorance. Elder Lin, continue to teach your man. Ignorance is too frightening. For the title of virtuous emperor to fall on him is truly a waste of a heavenly treasure. The Great Demon King curled his lips and left the hall. He couldn't stand the current situation. The Great Demon King also has a heaven-defying bloodline? Night Sorrow asked. Of course there are. Every emperor isn't simple. He is called the Great Demon King because he abhors evil and loves to kill. Another reason is his talent. He has the Devil King's body. I didn't tell you about my matters mainly because you didn't ask. I have the Emperor Might body, which is the talent of strength. My domain is the Void domain, but with the support of the Force domain, in a direct confrontation, no matter what talent an emperor has, they will have to retreat. To put it simply, let's talk about Aluo. She is the incarnation of the Devil's Snare Flower. Her original body is no different from her clone. Her domain of death is extremely confusing. This is something that other cultivators cannot compare to. Lin Piaomiao explained to Night Sorrow. Underscore hashtag Jianghu backslash square root free. Littlest they are all so heaven-defying. What about me? Night Sorrow looked at his own body. I don't know. Right now all of your attributes are very strong. Your body is even stronger. Who knows what your talent is? Lin Piaomiao laughed. I don't think so. Night Sorrow tidied his robe. It's not that you don't think so. It's just that you haven't discovered it yet. There are also some situations. For example, your bloodline isn't as tyrannical as the body of virtue and is suppressed by it. Also, your soul talent is extremely rare. However, it's hard to say for sure. Lin Piaomiao explained to Night Sorrow. You don't have to comfort me. Actually, I have a talent bloodline. You didn't see my ultimate technique, spatial rend. That is a talent bloodline. It's just that I haven't cultivated it well. I will continue to study it in the future. Night Sorrow said. I have lived for a long time and have never heard of this bloodline of Night Moon's clan. There are many human clans in the celestial realm and there are all kinds of bloodlines. Only your Yi clan's spatial rend has never been heard of. Lin Piaomiao muttered softly. That's not right. What's your Yi clan? It's our Yi clan. Night Sorrow looked at Lin Piaomiao and corrected her. It's a slip of the tongue. However, there is still a problem. It's common for cultivators to have multiple attributes. However, there is one that hasn't happened yet. That is, someone with 2 supreme attributes. Let's go and ask Martial Uncle. Lin Piaomiao said. Night Sorrow agreed with Lin Piaomiao's opinion. The two of them arrived at Yawu Mountain. King Yawu, who was standing at the peak with his hands behind his back, turned around and returned to the thatched hut. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao sat opposite King Yawu. Is there something wrong? King Yawu asked. Night Sorrow told him what he was confused about. Martial Uncle knows that you have the ethereal body. This kind of talent has a higher compatibility with various attributes. It doesn't have much of an advantage in the early stages. Because your level is low, you can't even study one attribute. There's no point in studying other attributes. However, in the later stages, you will be heaven-defying. Other races and other talents can't compare to you in terms of cultivation in higher realms. King Yawu answered directly. I see. I have the void and destruction attributes. I can focus on studying these 2 attributes. There's no need to be greedy. Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. There are some things that you can't touch. Neither can Piaomiao. There are only a few people in this world who know about the forbidden energy. Why did your master, the unparalleled Sword Emperor, trigger the God-destroying tribulation during the tribulation of the 7 emperors? It is because he touched upon the forbidden energy reincarnation. King Yawu said seriously. What kind of energy is reincarnation? Night Sorrow asked. It focuses on destruction and combines life, death, time, and space. It's the forbidden reincarnation attribute. If you master this energy, even the Emperor's tribulation will become the God-destroying tribulation. King Yawu looked up at the sky and said, So the reincarnation attribute is unparalleled and the most powerful attribute in the world? Night Sorrow stood up because this information was too shocking. Yes, but it's not absolute. If there's a positive, there's a negative. If there's a black, there's a white. There's another forbidden attribute called beginning. At the end of the last reincarnation, the clash between the human race and the demon-winged clan was the battle between beginning and reincarnation. Lord Tianhuang can understand more about it. However, you should pretend that you don't know about this for now. Focus on improving your realm and building a good foundation. King Yawu said to Night Sorrow. Yishang nodded woodenly. It was too frightening and too profound. He felt that perhaps this was where the charm of cultivation lay. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao left. They didn't speak along the way. They hadn't come into contact with such things before. This information is too shocking. However, it's harder to grasp it. How can a person have the supreme attribute and the 4 advanced attributes? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and said. Chapter 1823. Night Sorrow, what are you thinking about? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Sister Xian, if one doesn't have the strength to pass through the Emperor's and Emperor's tribulations, will he be killed by the heavens if he controls the forbidden attribute? Night Sorrow asked. That goes without saying. Senior Unparalleled Sword Emperor had the strength to pass through the 7 Emperors' tribulations. He merely touched the forbidden energy and the gods' tribulations destroyed his body. Touching it without strength is just asking for death. Lin Piaomiao said. After speaking, Lin Piaomiao realized that Night Sorrow was silent and his face was a little green. She didn't understand. What's wrong with you? I have the destruction, void, space, time and death attributes in my body. Night Sorrow said softly. 20,000 primes, isn't that the life attribute? Wait until you've passed through the Emperor's and Emperor's tribulations. Then you can study it slowly. It's not that easy to get an attribute from nothing. Lin Piaomiao hooked her arm around Night Sorrow's arm and said. But the problem is that I have a trace of life energy in my body. Night Sorrow turned to Lin Piaomiao and said. What did you say? Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow in shock. I thought about it. Because I have an ethereal body, I absorbed the destruction energy in the lightning tribulations. But when I absorbed the destruction energy, there was a trace of life energy in my body. It's true that I can't control it now. But when I'm injured it will help me recover. I can't control it now because I don't have the time to deal with it. Night Sorrow nodded and said. This is a big deal. Don't touch it. It's no different from going through lightning tribulations. It's too serious. Lin Piaomiao was a little afraid. The consequences of touching it were too scary. Night Sorrow was only an emperor. Destruction, life, death, time and space. These are the components of the forbidden attribute reincarnation. If the void attribute is the main one and fuses with these, would it be another forbidden attribute, primal? Night Sorrow thought of another question. How would I know? I only heard about the taboo attribute energy from Martial Uncle today. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. Let's not talk about it anymore. Let's raise our cultivation level first. The scenery on the path of cultivation is beautiful, but this kind of beauty isn't so easy to obtain. Night Sorrow patted Lin Piaomiao's back and said. Night Sorrow, you're too scary, Lin Piaomiao said. I won't touch it easily. Don't worry. Night Sorrow nodded at Lin Piaomiao. This is your potential. But before you have the strength, we won't dig for this treasure. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and reminded him. Night Sorrow nodded. He knew that there were some things that he shouldn't touch. The two left Yawu Mountain and arrived at the divine capital. The divine capital was very beautiful at night. It was the first city of the human race and the origin of the human civilization. We're not going back. Let's go shopping. Lin Piaomiao pulled Night Sorrow and said. Night Sorrow smiled. The two of them strolled casually on the streets. Lin Piaomiao bought Night Sorrow 2 sets of battle robes and 2 pairs of battle boots. Because Night Sorrow had been barefoot all this time. You're clearly a young master full of vigor. Why do you have to act like a wandering cultivator? You're a domain lord. You have status and a wife at home. You can't be like this. Lin Piaomiao looked at Night Sorrow and said with a smile. Then Lin Piaomiao helped Night Sorrow comb his hair. Only under such circumstances would Night Sorrow be worth watching. The barefoot Night Sorrow with his hair draped over his shoulders was completely different from the current him. You're looking down on me? Night Sorrow said and turned his head to the side. What are you talking about? If I don't take care of you well, people won't laugh at you. They'll laugh at the woman in your family for not being able to take care of a man. Lin Piaomiao pinched Night Sorrow's shoulder hard. All right. Unless it's a special situation, I'll take care of myself well. Night Sorrow grabbed Lin Piaomiao's hand and said. The two of them went on a shopping spree. They bought a bunch of battle robes, battle boots and skirts. Then they went to a restaurant to have a meal before returning to Night Moon Villa. You two are glowing. You two went out to eat alone. Seeing Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returning to Night Moon Villa, the Great Demon King scolded. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao didn't reply. You couldn't tell right from wrong with the Great Demon King. The Great Demon King's words are more direct. But Alliance Master, you're putting on airs. Sect Master Lin has good taste. Yu Zhu added. What's wrong with you two? We're just out shopping. Why are you acting like we're committing murder and arson? Are you guilty? Lin Piaomiao said unhappily. Shopping isn't a crime. Showing off your love isn't a crime. But you shouldn't have come back empty-handed. Where's the wine? Where's the meat? Pu Luo said and directly stated the reason. Why can't you just say it? Lin Piaomiao placed a few dishes and a few jars of wine on the table. She and Night Sorrow prepared a portion for everyone. Ruisi, what's with your expression just now? Yu Zhu, how can you say that our Alliance Master is putting on airs? You two are too unkind. How can he still think of you when he's out? Pu Luo, you two. Do you have to be so direct? Who are our Alliance Master and Sect Master Lin? They're the Merit Emperor and his wife. The Great Demon King sat by the table and opened the jar of wine. Their faces changed too quickly. A moment ago they were still an adulterous couple. Now they were the Merit Emperor and his wife. Pu Luo didn't utter a word. He took the jar of wine and poured it. Ruisi and Yuzhu did the same. Fan Tian directly took the jar of wine. Night Sorrow was speechless. This group of people was abnormal. Let's go and try on the robes. Lin Piaomiao pulled Night Sorrow to the loft where they were resting. Night Sorrow changed into a loose white battle robe. He also changed the ribbon that tied his hair into a hairpin. It was a hollow silver hairpin. Good bearing. That's the feeling. Lin Piaomiao clapped her hands and said after helping Night Sorrow tidy up. It's all right. Although it's not as casual as before, it still feels very nimble. Night Sorrow said after taking 2 steps. Everything stabilized. Night Sorrow's original body was in a high-speed cultivation. His clone was studying the spear art every day, combining the immemorial spear art and high heaven spear art into one. In the blink of an eye, another year and a half had passed. The competition for the first vanguard of the 100 Races Alliance was getting closer and closer. However, Night Sorrow's original body was still in an epiphany. If it was in a normal place, the epiphany would be interrupted if the energy couldn't keep up. However, this didn't happen in Yawu Mountain. The energy was dense and the increase in energy could keep up with the realm. Peak of Yawu Mountain. King Yawu looked at Yishang, who was sitting cross-legged, and nodded silently. The energy that wrapped around Yishang circled in the sky, and then returned to Yawu Mountain was very stable. This meant that the horn of the human race's dragon of destiny would soon form. Night Sorrow's clone had also reached the peak of Yawu Mountain. However, he was cultivating his spear art every day. Every spear that he released was filled with the aura of high heaven. Chapter 1824. Night Sorrow wielded the spear with his spirit and performed the mixed Yuan spear art. Every spear attack carried his own domain miniature. Every spear attack switched between Void Extreme Kill and Void Return to Origin Kill. Sometimes it was Destruction True Dragon Kill. Although there was attribute energy conversion, Night Sorrow's spear art wasn't abrupt at all. It seemed to be smooth and full. King Yawu was aware of Yishang's progress. He knew that Yishang had comprehended enough of his spear art. What he lacked was a self-created spear art. Additionally, he needed cultivation. If his cultivation increased, his battle prowess wouldn't be a problem. Junior brother, your main body's epiphany hasn't stopped. Are you planning to charge all the way to the Emperor rank? Fan Tian asked when he saw Night Sorrow put away his spear. How can I? However, epiphany is a good thing. I'll continue to do so. There's no harm in it. Night Sorrow said with a smile. If we examine your energy, Night Sorrow, you're already a mid-stage 5-star Emperor, which is equivalent to a mid-stage Emperor. Of course, this is under the condition that your energy and realm are equal. If your energy hasn't caught up to your realm, then your realm might be higher. King Yawu said. Night Sorrow's situation couldn't be hidden from him. A mid-stage 5-star Emperor. It's not safe enough to participate in the 100 Race Alliance's first vanguard with this cultivation. Night Sorrow said after some thought. Junior brother, what are you thinking? Back when you were an Emperor, you defeated the encirclement of 5 Emperors from the Demon Wing clan. What's the difference between you and back then? Are you still worried that you won't be a match for other Emperors in a one-on-one battle? Are you planning to squash every opponent to death after entering the arena? Fan Tian said with a smile. Didn't Martial Uncle say that I can only win and not lose? I must enter the Wasteland Tower. Night Sorrow said. Your current spear art's attack power is infinitely close to the Emperor rank. This is only a 4-star Emperor with the strength of a beginner Emperor. If you're a mid-stage Emperor, then your spear art's attack power will be at the Emperor rank. In addition to the attribute suppression and other factors, Martial Uncle thinks that you can sweep through the Emperors. King Yawu said. He was very confident in Night Sorrow. I'll try my best. Night Sorrow nodded. You don't have to worry about the Humanitarian League, Star Moon City, etc. Everything is developing very well now. You are already a mighty lord in the human clan. Fan Tian said to Night Sorrow. His clone had just gone to the Misty Dynasty's territory some time ago. I'm relieved if there's nothing wrong. Martial Uncle, I plan to go see Jun Xuanji, Night Sorrow said. King Yawu nodded. Go. Although we helped her a little, she still needs some support from her friends. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao left Yawu Mountain. Master, Junior Martial Brother's cultivation speed is so fast. Will his state of mind be unstable? Those Imperial Lords, which one of them hasn't cultivated for hundreds of millions of years, or even billions of years? Now that Junior Brother is participating, he will be under a lot of pressure. Fan Tian said. His state of mind won't be unstable. Energy is refined step by step, so it won't be unstable. It's fine. Even if the sky prides of the various divine beast clans want to suppress Night Sorrow, they won't be able to do it. When the time comes, I'll bring you along to observe the ceremony. I'll also need to communicate with the City Lord of Infinite Desolation to see if an emperor who has less than an era of lifespan and has passed the Emperor Tribulation can participate in the competition for the first commander. However, you shouldn't participate. No matter if it's Lin Piaomiao or the Great Demon Lord, once they take action, the first vanguard will be in the human clan's pocket. If they are restricted from participating, then you won't be able to participate either. King Wu said. I understand. Fan Tian bowed. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao arrived at the Humanitarian League's headquarters and saw Jun Xuanji in the attic behind the headquarters. Night Sorrow, you're here. I just asked someone to get some tea from Boss Chin. It's just right to entertain you. Jun Xuanji took out a tea set and brewed a pot of heart-cleansing tea. I haven't come to see you for more than a year mainly because I didn't want to disturb you and ruin your state of mind. How has it been? Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and asked. What do you think? Jun Xuanji looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Very good. Your cultivation has reached the 6-star king. You're full of energy, chi and spirit. Night Sorrow carefully sized up Jun Xuanji and said. Very good. You've managed the Humanitarian League well, haven't you? Everyone has to give some face to the Humanitarian League's general manager. After we finished talking last time, my original body went to the 9 Domains world and has been cultivating in your Clear Sky Pagoda. My cultivation has been very smooth, but you didn't notice, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. It's fine as long as you're doing well. I'm more at ease. Today we'll just drink tea, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow wasn't worried about Jun Xuanji's original body and clone. King Wu had sealed the original body's soul, so the clone was also restricted by the seal. Once upon a time, we were the 2 commanders of 2 armies. Whether it was strategy or cultivation, I wasn't much worse than you. I even brought you a lot of trouble. But now, the gap is too big, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. Maybe it's because I developed fast in the early stages, while you developed fast in the later stages. There are many examples of latecomers catching up. Night Sorrow comforted Jun Xuanji with a smile. Comfort me? Do you think I need to? I'm just a little emotional telling you this. If I'm the reincarnation of that person's soul, then her original body isn't as good. At least she's not as good as you. The gap is too big, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. Xuanji, Night Sorrow is the virtuous emperor of the human race. Those who have virtuous bodies are blessed with karmic luck. We all know that, so your future path is different from what some people have planned. You, a different Jun Xuanji. Lin Piaomiao poured a cup of tea for Jun Xuanji. To be able to drink tea poured by the Battle Emperor, there's no one below the Emperor, right? I'm very happy. Actually, what I'm most happy about is that Night Sorrow has always had a stage to show off. In the world of reincarnation, you were the commander and I was the strategist. Our cooperation was unrivaled. In the Celestial Realm, you're the Humanitarian League's lord and I'm the general manager. You can expand your territory and I can stabilize it, Jun Xuanji said. Well said. In the future, I still have to conquer the world. I can't do without you, Jun Xuanji, by my side. Night Sorrow looked at Jun Xuanji and said seriously. What do you mean by the demon-winged clan's powerhouse? Scram as far as you can. I want to be the world's best strategist. When Night Sorrow becomes famous, people will know that you have someone by your side called Jun Xuanji. Jun Xuanji clinked his teacup against Night Sorrow's. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Where's Zhu Jiyun? Why haven't I heard from her recently? The 9 Domains world is formed by the fusion of 3 realms. You're the leader of the Profound Mysteries realm and she's the leader of the Nether realm. Why hasn't she appeared? Night Sorrow asked. I don't know. The last time I saw her, she was full of confidence and wanted to become an emperor. Who knows what's going on? But you have to be careful of her. She has horns on her head, Jun Xuanji said with a smile. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.